podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.
Welcome to this week's Film Masters.
Good morning, good evening, and welcome to episode 392 of Film Bastards. I am one of your co-hosts, Mark Foster, and as ever, I am joined by
Becky Foster. Hello, everybody.
And
Ian Loring. Hello.
And we're also joined by
McGrath. I don't know why I put myself just in a Spanish accent, but hey.
We are joined by John McGrath of His Film, Her Movie, who just celebrated their
Spaniard
50th...
himself.
Sorry. Yeah.
You just celebrated your 50th
nice
episode, I believe, John.
Sorry?
You just celebrated your 50th episode, I believe?
We have. I'm on to 51 now. But I mean, it took us about 2 years to do 50 episodes, but we took most of 2020 off. Didn't really plan to, but that's the way it worked. So yeah, 50 episodes.
I think if you'd planned to do anything in 2020, it wouldn't have come off. So you might as well have just taken a bit of time off.
I think that was the case. But we're back at it now. 2 episodes in 2 weeks, and the other one getting recorded at the weekend.
Very cool, very cool, very cool. And so we've got John on from His Film, Her Movie, which of course is another We Are Pod Syndicate podcast. So you can check out other shows on there, including the Rewatch Project, Chinsmoke vs. Punter, the Iron sequel, which I believe both me and Ian are going to be coming up on future episodes.
I fucking hope so. If James is actually like, yeah, I'm down for that. My God, man. My God.
And who else is on there? What else we got on there? What other podcast we got, Becky? What have I forgotten?
I don't know.
Did you not look at the quiz?
I don't know.
He's very intense when you're podcasting with him. He just stares at you and he's speaking. It's freaky.
Yeah, the Rewatch Project. We've got. I think that's around about it.
I think that's covering it. Plus all of the plethora of bonus shows we have. So go out there, listen to shit, go and watch our YouTube, go and do all the bits around what we do. But
you fucking cunts.
we don't have one review, do we? No, that'd be fucking fabulous.
It's an introduction delivered like a knife to the throat.
We don't have 2 reviews, do we? No, fuck that shit. 3 reviews. We're hitting you in the face with some Chaos Walking, some Godzilla vs. Kong, and The Empty Man, because we all watched it. Didn't plan to review it, but we all watched it, so fuck it. Why not? Plus your usual what we've been watching, and trailers, because there is some, because we're back in the flow, and yeah, other tangents and bits and bobs. Ian, what's been in the news this week?
Fuck. Bridgerton man is leaving Bridgerton.
Yep.
John Page. I should know his name.
René Jean Page, is that his name, or Jean René Page? It's one of the other.
I think
asking me to try and say people's names is a bad idea.
Well, okay, Bridgerton man, as he'll henceforth be known, is leaving Bridgerton, which has caused some shockwaves. And I like that he is going, fuck it, I want to have a film career. You know, like, no, I want to be in films. So it's going to be in the Dungeons and Dragons film, being written and directed by the guys who did Game Night. Really looking forward to that. He's in the new The Grey Man, I want to call it, the Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans Netflix film, and he's being rumoured for Bond to the extent that I want to say Betway have suspended betting on him. Now, we were talking about this in our WhatsApp group, boy chat thing earlier on. Apologies, Becky. And Mike brought it up, I think. That's why. Yeah. Is Mike in that? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no excuse then, Mike, you fucker. And I haven't seen Bridgerton. Bridgerton correspondent Donna Loring reliably informs me that he is, quote, a thirst trap, but he would not get me to watch Bond. But I think a lot of folks who watch Bridgerton would watch a Bond with him in, and I think you would get a lot more ethnically diverse audience watching Bond if he was in it, if he was Bond as well. He is young. He was probably still relatively cheap in terms of leading men, and this is an interesting one. Jord, as a noted TV watcher, has Bridgerton passed your eyeballs?
It hasn't. It's probably not one of those which I would watch. However, the one thing people said he's leaving Bridgerton. Now, the way that I've read it is, one, his character had an arc and he sort of ended at the end of the season, and two, he is not in any of the other books, so therefore he wouldn't be in the following seasons. And I think the only thing people wanted him to stay there was because of the thirst factor. It was like he was the big thing from that first season and they wanted to continue, but maybe in the story that they're telling, he's not needed anymore. But regarding Bond, I can see it. The one thing that I think is going for them, if they do choose him, is that he is young, so they could easily get 5 Bonds, 6 Bonds out of him before he really does become too old for the role.
Yeah.
But it might be the fact of it's like, now I've forgot her name, the Doctor Who,
Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker. It might just be a door opener. Therefore, he'll be there, he'll do a couple, and then that'll open the door. That takes the discussion away of Bond being somebody of differing ethnicity. And we can sort of wipe that slate clean. It's been done. Now let's move forward.
Yeah.
But as for his acting style or his talent, I haven't really seen it. I've seen clips of Bridgerton when he's been on stuff like the Graham Norton show or things like that, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm fairly sure Mark and Bex haven't seen Bridgerton either.
No.
It's yeah, I don't know. It's I'm here for it to an extent, and it seems like he's booking the right kind of roles to be like somebody of the stature to do this. So, you know, fair play. We'll see what happens. It's been a more interesting choice than Tom Hardy, I'd say that. Also, this looks relatively breaking. Another Paramount film is sold to Amazon following Coming to America and Without Remorse. The Chris Pratt starring The Tomorrow War is going to be on Amazon Prime July 2nd. Amazon have bought it for $200 million. Paramount being pretty fucking smart with their selling shit, you know, and it's interesting what they're selling and what they're not selling. You know, we shall see if there's any quality connections in that regard. But yeah, this is Chris Pratt In the Tomorrow War, the world is stunned when a group of time travelers arrive from the year 2051 to deliver an urgent message. 30 years in the future, mankind is losing a global war against a deadly alien species. The only hope for survival is for soldiers and civilians from the present to be transported to the future and join the fight. Among them recruited is high school teacher and family man Dan, played by Chris Pratt. Determined to save the world for his young daughter, he teams up with a brilliant scientist and his estranged father in a desperate quest to rewrite the fate of the planet. Being directed by the guy who directed the Lego Batman movie, Chris McKay. Yeah, I mean, bit of a shame that an original sci-fi action film is just being sold to streaming. But at the same time, I bet Paramount are fucking thrilled that they don't have to lay out for the marketing expense on this, and they still get $200 million. Yeah, yeah, you know. Is there much more to say?
Has the heat subsided on Chris Pratt?
Yes.
I mean, I still watch we're currently rewatching Parks and Rec at the moment. Still love the guy, but I think his time in the sun is coming to an end.
I think it's it's pretty much gone. It seems like Ian said, Paramount look like they've gone. Oh, we can't be asked dealing with the is Chris Pratt cancelled kind of idea.
It doesn't necessarily seem that he. I don't know.
I don't think he's actually done anything cancelable. I think people just don't like him.
He likes his religion, and I think there's been a little bit of scuttlebutt about his feelings towards there's something in my head saying he's made some comments about trans people before, but that might be me conflating it with something else. There was something that he said that some folks weren't happy about a while back. But the thing is, because films haven't really been coming out that much, celebrities haven't been getting interviewed as much, and they haven't been saying as many stupid things.
Yeah. So even the mildly not even stupid, just I wonder what he meant there. It's been turned into, this is an outrage.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's married. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger's his fucking father-in-law. Yeah. He's got franchises. I mean, the Jurassic World franchise, like him being in them, will probably end with next year's. I mean, the Guardians films is an interesting one because Gunn said like he sees it as a trilogy, and then what happens from there? And it's like, again, I mean, like, has the heat ever so slightly gone out off of the Guardians of the Galaxy as well?
It might be that, but also it's like he hasn't really headlined any. Well, the only original one regarding where I think he was touted as like the A-lister is Passengers, and if I remember correctly, that was a bit of a financial failure. Like, you got to think, the only big blockbusters that he's been in is Jurassic World films, which are always going to be successful, Avengers and Guardians. And they're just three franchises which are going to make money if he's in them or not.
Yeah, I think Passengers was one of those where it just about made its money. I think the biggest thing about Passengers was Pratt actually very nearly backed out of it when he found out that he was getting paid more than Jennifer Lawrence, didn't he?
That's fucking ridiculous.
Because he basically said, he basically said, I'm backing out because she's an Oscar winner and is more bankable than me. Why am I getting paid more than her? And so they had to put it at parity with them. And he commented, saying, I don't get it.
It's hard enough for women in that, well, most industries to fucking get by, but for Jennifer Lawrence to be getting paid less than Chris Pratt. I mean, I get that he had a hot summer. I want to say Jurassic World and Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, might have been the same year. So, but I mean, Jennifer Lawrence is Jennifer Lawrence.
And that was like Jennifer Lawrence at the height of her powers, was there?
Yeah, quite. Even though, God, it still makes me laugh that Jennifer Lawrence basically took all her cachet and it was like, right, what's the film that you want to like develop yourself and whatnot? I don't know, Red Sparrow, the most complicated wank film Hollywood has made in the last decade.
It was a little bit, wasn't it? Yeah. I still quite enjoyed it though.
Yeah.
If Red Sparrow. Red Sparrow's a good film.
With Charlotte Rampling playing the most Charlotte Rampling of roles ever. Like literally, when they went, right, who should we cast in this? It basically just the world shouted Charlotte Rampling at it.
Yeah. Black Widow's going to be interesting because it kind of feels like there are elements of that feel very Red Sparrow-y. I'm kind of like this. Even though I think it might be a Marvel thing already, but this Red Room thing, which apparently that's in Black Widow. What was the name of the room in bloody 50 Shades?
The Red Room.
It was the Red Room.
Yeah.
Wowee. There's a crossover.
You know what? I'd be more interested in that than any of the Marvel movies that are currently slated.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Widow.
Yeah. Just some like paradox thing where Doctor Strange opens up a room and goes, go into there, and she goes in, and just fucking Christian Grey's just there going,
Hello.
Did you arrange for her to join? Because I'm all for this. Damn Neil, bitch. Can you imagine? I don't think she would. I still want to know.
What?
Still want to know who fucking put the poster up.
I mean, maybe you did it.
No, I want to know the reasoning behind it.
I feel like we've run out of juice on the Tomorrow War.
Is there any other news, Ian?
I don't know. Award season stuff keeps on happening. The BAFTAs. Right. I'm just going to say this and I'm going to leave it. The fact that Noel Clarke is getting some sort of special contribution to British Cinema Award at the BAFTAs at the weekend is a fucking joke. If you want to celebrate people of colour in the British film industry, there's probably about 100 people you could go for before Noel Clarke. Noel Clarke's services to Sky One original programming, yeah, give him an award for Bulletproof, I suppose. But no, like, what the fuck? Like, it's right. The two special awards are Noel Clarke and Ang Lee. I bet Ang Lee's like. So who's getting the other one then? Noel Clarke. Who?
Did you say Larry Clark? No, Noel Clarke. No coward.
It's honestly that fucking embarrassing. Like I'm not saying I don't hate Noel Clarke. It's just like, was he just the 61st person you asked and all the others declined because they wanted to do it in person?
Absolutely, 100%. He's exactly that.
Fucking hell.
He seems to have an odd thing with BAFTA where they seem to really like him.
I don't know, man. Just...
I will say this. I have actually met Noel Clarke on 2 occasions. And although Ian, I agree with your point entirely, I met Noel Clarke on 2 occasions, and both times he was absolutely lovely.
Oh no! I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he's a sweetheart, and it's not. I'm not criticizing him in the slightest. It's just Jesus Christ, BAFTA.
The weird thing is, he was like seriously hot shit, like the big fucking new thing, like the big new thing of British cinema. In like what 2009, 2010.
Yeah, that sounds right.
231 came out.
And Kidulthood, I thought that was 2006. So that was 15 years ago, and he wrote Kidulthood and Adulthood, I think, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we provided the wardrobe.
4321 was decent. He directed that, didn't he? He didn't just write it.
It was fine. It was fun. It was a little bit pervy at points, but I remember it being fun enough.
And he is a little bit of a one-man industry, and I respect that. But it's just, I don't know, what has he done lately that would actually lead to that? I
don't know lately, but again, it's BAFTA, so it's British Academy of Film and Television, and therefore he was on one of the staples of British TV for 5 years in Doctor Who.
I swear it's contribution to British cinema, though.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if he was getting outstanding contribution to British TV, I'd buy it more. Anyway, I don't mean to be a dick about it. It's just, yeah.
He
all
was
right.
he was in SAS Red Notice, the Sky original.
Well, shit. I mean,
he is very much Sky's boy.
He is.
and yeah, the BAFTAs. I will say it's cool that the BAFTAs are actually going to be live on BBC One this year.
Are they?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Well, that's an improvement at least. I guarantee you next year when people can actually be there, they'll change their mind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
We're doing it on a 32-minute delay. Why? Why not?
What if people swear?
Yeah, I would just love that live. Just come out and just start shouting obscenities. Just see how
The thing is, it always started after 9 anyhow, didn't it? So it's always after the watershed.
Yeah, I mean, because it was after the watershed, but they also cut it down this year. They're doing some of it on Saturday, like the more below the line awards. Apparently, they're just going to announce them on Saturday.
Yeah, it's like over 2 days, isn't it?
Yeah, and which feels insanely insulting. I mean,
Yeah.
if
You're worthless.
That's awful.
yeah,
This pinnacle of your career, yeah, it ain't even good enough for a fucking Sunday in lockdown, you pricks.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, if they want to do the big awards over 2 hours or something like that, just say, look, the actual ceremony starts at 5. It's on iPlayer, and then from 7 till 9, it will be like prime time on BBC One, and we'll do the big ones then. But then at least, because it feels like you are just saying everything on the Saturday night doesn't really matter. It's more a fucking warm-up act.
It is a little bit like all of those things that they've been doing about saying we need to raise funds, we need to raise awareness for all the crews that do all the work behind the scenes who have been really badly affected by this, because they're the most important part. They're as important as everything else, and they're the heartbeat of the film industry. But they can't come out on a Sunday. They cannot come out on a Sunday because they have to be ready to work at 6 a.m. on a Monday. It's serious fucking shit.
It's a shame, but hey, there's only 2.5 weeks of award season left. I will say it was interesting as well in terms of like Oscar watch. The SAG Awards at the weekend threw a bit of a spanner in the works where the Trial of the Chicago 7 won Best Ensemble, and the kind of the thinking was, well, if Minari won that, then like Nomadland may well have some competition at the Oscars. Instead, Trial of the Chicago 7, no one is tipping one. Viola Davis also won Best Actress as well, which it seems to have spiced things up a bit as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the BAFTAs, because Carey Mulligan had been getting quite a lot of heat, but it kind of seems like that's dying down a little bit now. But we'll see. She's probably going to win Best Actress at the BAFTAs. If she doesn't, that's definitely telling. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Like I say, 2.5 weeks till the Oscars, and then Cannes in July, and then it will start spinning around again. So I think that's probably it news-wise, though.
Did you see the Hollywood Reporter? I mean, obviously, it was last week's news regarding the Knives Out sequels and Netflix, but the Hollywood Reporter article today that's saying that Rian Johnson, Daniel Craig, and Rian Johnson's producing partner looking to basically all make $100 million from these sequels each. And it's just like, they're making out like bandits.
Do you know what sorry.
It's a little bit mad because they're gonna. It seems like Netflix will release these in cinemas. The thing is that they're putting out the feelers for it. I think that they're going to release them in cinemas, but it's just a bit mad. This it just I can't. This is my the simulation proving itself thing this week.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't understand it.
It's money that you cannot conceive of. It's that is monopoly money. It's that whole thing about how you hear about 5 people dying in a car accident and it really affects you, but hearing that 2,000 people died in an earthquake and it just doesn't, it's like the more the numbers go up, the less real these things feel. It's the same with these numbers. It's like where are Netflix getting this from? I mean, I suppose it's, in the long term, the more original content they have, the less licensing costs they have to pay, and they frankly need some franchise competition against Disney Plus. I think Disney Plus has got Netflix fucking terrified. It is what it is. But these, I mean, Ryan Johnson must just be like, 2 years ago, all I was doing was dealing on Twitter with fucking like Last Jedi haters, and now I've got more money than God.
The other one there to look at is the madness of Daniel Craig seems to accidentally end up being like one of the highest earning actors of all time.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he's been earning what, 50 million pound a picture for the last few Bonds.
Doesn't want to do them anymore.
The thing, he will have so much more fun doing these than he ever has had on Bond. He gets to do a funny accent. He gets to stand around and talk. And I bet, when they're done shooting, he has the best dinners with like with the cast and crew.
Yeah. Do you know what would make me laugh is literally if they went, do you know what? Let's do the next one, but let's have him turn up and just have a completely fucking different accent.
But I mean, the thing is, do you know, I'm really looking forward to these movies. I really loved Knives Out, and I can't wait for the sequels. But it's just like that film was budgeted at $40 million. The maths baffles me.
It came in under as well.
I mean, it's fascinating, because apparently there was a bit of a bidding war on it between Apple, Amazon, and Netflix. So you wonder if there wasn't that war, that what it would have sold at. But you know
though that literally like 2 days after the fucking it was announced that Netflix had got it, they realised that Apple's bid had gone into the fucking junk mail or something like that. If it had been on Amazon, it'd have launched on like April the 2nd, but you wouldn't have been able to find it until like April the 12th or something.
No, even if you specifically searched it.
Yeah.
It's impressive that Netflix outbid Apple. You would have thought, even though then again, Apple were probably like 350 million's our capper, or something like that. It's silly money, but it's such a nice, not ending for Ryan Johnson, but the next chapter for him. That he seems to be a genuinely nice guy. He made one of, if not the most interesting Star Wars film, which I say every time, but it's my penance. I was insanely wrong about that film when it first came out. And now, he's had to deal with all that shit. He wrote and directed Knives Out as a fucking palate cleanser, and now he's got his own franchise, making so much more money than he ever fucking would have doing another Star Wars trilogy. Because I'm assuming that's just quietly cancelled, and good for him. If I was him, I wouldn't be fucking bothered. Why the fuck am I gonna earn a good amount of money but dealing with all this shit when I can fucking own my own franchise about shit that I want to do, like smart whodunits, and just make all the money and live my life with my film podcaster wife? Good for him. And he's filming in Greece. He's smart enough to go fuck it. I wrote a film that was set in winter Boston last time round. Fuck that, not in Greece. Fuck it, let's go to Hawaii. Good for you, Ryan Johnson. Jesus Christ.
And that's it. To have complete creative control, which I think has already been agreed that literally he's the big dog.
And he's got a minimum budget guarantee of $40 million. The film, like, he cannot have less than 40 million from Amazon. And I bet the Greek authorities going to be giving them tax breaks up the fucking wazoo.
Oh, yes. Trailers, guys. There's a few. There is a few. Ian, what have you got?
Okay, so Gia Coppola's mainstream. Andrew Garfield and Maya Hawke. Little bit worried that it's not going to have much more to say than the trailer makes it out to. But we'll see. I think Andrew Garfield makes some really interesting choices. Let's see how it goes on that one.
Yeah, it's very much like Andrew Garfield seems to be able to play a very good douchebag, and I'm kind of down for that. I like the fact that he literally now, post sort of Spider-Man and everything like that, just fucking stays well out of the media and everything like that, and then just crops up in something quite cool every now and again. But this does look like it could be teeth itching.
I'm a little wary.
It's a Coppola vibe, isn't it? It's another Coppola going into the sort of nowadays society ideals. It's like, for example, like talking about like the Bling Ring trailer, the film doesn't really say much more regarding what was said in the trailer, but that film is fantastic. I just think they have a nice way of just penetrating their own culture, their own age group. So hopefully, I hold high hopes for it. Just because I like Palo Alto quite a bit.
I quite like Palo Alto actually. I thought it was quite. It was interesting. It's not something I'd ever watch again, but at the time I was like, you know what, that's fine. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Second trailer for Cruella.
The trailer finished. I turned to you, didn't I, Bex, and said, I still don't know what the fuck it's about.
It seems to be like The Devil Wears Prada if not Emily Blunt, fucking Anne Hathaway was Emma Stone.
Yeah, but the thing is, everything about it, I'm all right with. I can about work it all out, roughly kind of like what the vibe and everything it's going for. Apart from there's one thing that makes me go, but wait a minute. And the but wait a minute is, but wait a minute, it's a Disney film.
Yes, it's an odd vibe for a Disney movie.
It's really odd.
I said to you, it feels like it's got like a bit of a Catwoman arc vibe, doesn't it? Like she's the meek kind of assistant by day, and then she's this dark thing by night. But then it's, I don't know, it's a Disney film.
How dark can it get?
Exactly, yeah.
Watch it. It'll come out with a fucking NC-17 rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's, Craig Gillespie's directed it, I think, and he's interesting. So they're gonna, if this is successful, they're gonna do another 101 Dalmatians with her as Cruella, aren't they?
Oh yeah, without question. Yeah. It's almost like that's the idea.
It's like at the end of it, Gary Oldman's gonna come up to her and just be like, got another dog for you. They've got a taste for the theatrical. They left this, and there's just a playing card. And she turns it over. It's a Dalmatian. And she's just like, oh, look into it. And then it will end.
I think Ian's spot on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got? You got any, Bex?
Not any that I've watched on my own, no.
We got Together.
Yeah.
Anyone else seen this trailer?
No.
Basically, it seems like Ed Helms has got a surrogate to carry his child because he has no partner, and then they form like a bond of friendship.
Yeah, it just seems a bit fucking sappy.
It does seem a little bit sappy.
Yeah.
It does. It's one of those where I don't think I'll ever watch it because I've watched the trailer.
Yeah, you can predict without watching it exactly what's going to happen at the end. So what's the fucking point?
A little bit, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. What else have we got? Has anyone seen the trailer for Percy versus Goliath?
That's a
Nope.
made-up film.
Right. It's Christopher Walken. It's called Percy versus Goliath, and it is not a comedy.
Wait, I actually think I know this story.
Yeah.
Is it with Zach Braff?
Yes.
I've heard about this. It actually sounds quite
Yeah.
interesting.
It's about the idea of one of the it's loosely based on the real story of one of the big American farming companies. Basically, they GM'd the grain seed, but then anybody, because you kept your own seeds and you replanted them, and that's how farming worked.
Yeah.
Well, they GM'd the seeds and then copyrighted the seeds, so they owned the seeds. So that if you reused your seeds, you were technically using their intellectual property. So you couldn't do it. So what you had to do is you had to farm it, then send your seeds to them, and then rebuy your own seeds. And this is the story of one of the farmers who just basically went, no, I'm not going to fucking do that. So it's a little bit like Dark Waters kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that. It's a really interesting story. I think it was covered briefly in there was a documentary about it about 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember what it's called. I think it was Food Inc. I think it was actually it's in. There's a big segment about it in Food Inc. But yeah, I'm quite interested. It's got Netflix Thursday night written all over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Christopher Walken in anything is always going to be fun. What else have we got? A weird 40-second clip from Ghostbusters Afterlife to kind of remind everybody that, hey, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, nothing really caused the release of that, eh? It just appeared.
Yeah.
I think they've opened up a YouTube channel, and that was the first video on a YouTube channel.
Like, hey guys, don't forget how much you like Paul Rudd.
Well, literally, it was like literally they were like somebody in the PR thing went, hey, it's Paul Rudd's birthday today. And they went, right, get something out there now. And they went, I'm about to go home. Can I do it tomorrow? You go, fuck it, yes. It doesn't make sense to clip.
No, but I did quite enjoy it.
I don't know. I just don't know. I'm kind of worried that this movie is going to be absolute fucking garbage.
I'm quite excited for it.
If I didn't know that Jason Reitman had previously said, I'm paraphrasing, but if you see me directing a Ghostbusters film, then you know I fucked up. Then I don't think I'd be as worried. But it absolutely fucking reeks of my career's stalling a bit. I've got a connection to this franchise, and I can maybe lean into the, you didn't like an all-woman one? Here you go. Here's some Stranger Things-esque nostalgia stuff for you instead. You like that, don't you?
It is literally like they've gone, right, they didn't like the woman one. What can we get that is the universally most liked thing in the film world that nobody can dislike? Paul Rudd.
And that, yeah.
It's a bit of a shame though, because Jason Reitman's career, I think it has faltered, but only commercially, because Young Adult is brilliant. Really, I love Young Adult, and I like Tully. Labour Day, I don't think I've seen it, but that's with Kate Winslet and.
What I would say there, John, is I very much agree with you on Young Adult, and I like Tully, but Labour Day was bad.
Men, women, and children was an absolute garbage fire as well.
Oh yes, it was. Yes.
He's a properly mixed bag as Jason Reitman. It's just the fact that it feels like such a career move, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it's coming from a place of love. The Paul Feig one, that was coming from a place of love. It may well be great and fair enough, but yeah, I mean, I'd be worried if I was more connected to Ghostbusters.
It's such an odd one. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. The thing is, I will happily go and see it in the cinema, but it's not one that I've been going, oh my god, why does Ghostbusters keep on getting delayed?
No.
What else we got? Those Who Wish Me Dead.
It's a bit of Martinet, this, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
Very much is Martinet, this, isn't it? I mean, Taylor Sheridan, I've been a fan of everything he's done. If I watched TV stuff, I would probably watch Yellowstone. But instead, I'm just going to assume it's very good.
It's where Kelly Riley's been for years.
You see, that's another thing that's making me go, why aren't you watching this, Mark? But it's Taylor Sheridan. Taylor Sheridan and Tyler Perry's in there.
Excuse me? Tyler Perry's in it.
Yeah.
Is he playing Alex Cross?
I hope so. Just if there's anybody, I know there isn't, but if there's anybody from Netflix, right, who has a little bit of the excess cash that you were going to spend on Knives Out, just throw it Tyler Perry's way and get him to do another Alex Cross movie.
Yep.
That was the franchise that maybe the world didn't need, or the world didn't deserve, but Film Bastards did.
Yep.
We genuinely loved that movie.
Yep.
Yeah, absolute Martinet, this.
Yeah, it's Taylor Sheridan. He hasn't really. Sorry, go on, Beck.
I'm not a big Jolie fan.
No.
But I'm gonna trust in Sheridan here.
I don't know that I can.
There's going to be some fucking bleakness in this. It's going to be incredibly bleak.
There is, and then he rounds out his trailer with fucking Johnny Cash, doesn't he, as well? So yeah.
You're watching it going. There's a part of you can sense that people will be going to the cinema there, sort of going, oh, it's this great sort of like struggle, and then it's going to be like this power ending of her defeating everything. It's like, no, everybody's going to fucking die.
Well,
including the kid.
Especially the kid.
I've just realised that Taylor Sheridan has wrote that Without Remorse film with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, and it's directed by the guy who did Sicario 2 as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think that thing could be a low-key banger, Without Remorse. I'm quite looking forward to that.
It was, I think that was, Without Remorse was the script that he essentially, he agreed to the script if they give him the money to make Wind River.
That's bleak.
I mean, yeah, they're all quite bleak. And then finally, the final trailer, the big one, the big confusing one, Space Jam: A New Legacy.
It is chaotic, isn't it?
Yeah. It is chaotic.
See, I've not seen the original, so I don't know what I'm comparing it to.
My thing with the original Space Jam is, A, it's nowhere near as good as people would like to remember it is. It's fine. And B, it's fine because of Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I'll do a little bit of what we've been watching now. Last night I watched Space Jam.
Go
on. By myself. Lottie had no interest in it whatsoever, but it's on Netflix and it was leaving Netflix in the next couple of weeks. So I was like, well, I better watch it then. And Mark's right. That, like, Bill Murray being in that film is crazy. And apparently it was because he wanted to meet Michael. So yeah,
Yep.
and he does some really good improv in that. Some really, really good improv.
One of his things for getting it was that he never had to pay to get into another NBA game in his life. Yep. And they
He's
agreed
got
to
a
it.
special card.
Literally, like I think it's basically like that. Like they have to provide him with a courtside seat for any game that he wants to go to.
Fair enough then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not great. I mean, I think it's interesting that in the film, Michael Jordan like quits his basketball career to fulfill a promise that he made to his dad to give baseball a go,
Which he did do in
Yeah.
real life.
He didn't
Yeah.
realize it, yeah.
and you know,
Fantastically unsuccessfully.
and but that's the thing. It was interesting because he did this after that. But he was willing to kind of admit. I mean, in the film, it's kind of more like, hey, basketball's your home, isn't it? But they still have moments in it where, like, he is just a little bit shit. And I thought that was interesting that he's a big sports star. He's willing to show that he's not bulletproof. I mean, like, could you imagine Cristiano Ronaldo doing that? Like, Jesus fucking wept. But yeah, like the Looney Tunes stuff isn't great in that film. Lola Bunny. Zendaya is Lola Bunny in the new one. So instead of Zendaya is Michi, Zendaya is Lola. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue. But she's fucking ridiculous in Space Jam. It's literally the first scene she's in, Tweety Pie says she's hot. And then that just had me thinking, a bird finds a rabbit hot. How's that gonna work? It's like me saying, oh, that cat looks fuckable, doesn't it? You know, it just.
I've always thought that Tweety Pie was a little bit of a creep.
Yeah.
It just. I mean, it's short. Jordan himself is okay in it. Charles Barkley is very good. And the Bugsy Mogs, I want to say his name is, the short basketballer. I quite enjoy him as well. But yeah, it's. The Looney Tunes stuff just isn't great, and it just really rushes through the plot. Now, the thing is with Space Jam: A New Legacy, Pepe Le Pew's not allowed to be in it because he's problematic, but the guys from Clockwork Orange, absolutely, they can be in it, no problem. I mean, I'm assuming they're not going to say a word.
But it is almost like the people who've decided that they're going to be in it out of this big list of like Warner like products that they've got has never seen Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
I mean, Pennywise is in the crowd.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Ryan Coogler is producing it. You know, LeBron James was in Trainwreck and he was good. You know, so
he was the best thing in that fucking film.
Yeah, you know, but the trailer is one of the most hectic things I've ever seen. It's like they've just gone, right, kids don't like films anymore. I mean, my daughter is a prime example. She said to me the other day, oh, I think the bit of my brain that likes movies is dropped out, which was, you know, a gut punch. Seriously, she said that, and it's wowee. But it's almost like, unless your film is the cinematic equivalent of a TikTok, or at least this is what producers think, then you just don't have anything. It looks like it's going to be the most edited to within an inch of its life thing.
There will be no sequence in this movie that is longer than like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
George, you're a basketball fan, aren't you? What are your thoughts on Space Jam?
I love Space Jam. I remember going to see it at the cinema. I remember watching it as a kid, loving it. Haven't seen it in years, so I really can't comment on what it's like to watch it as an adult. But I mean, I just felt like the fact that LeBron is going and then becoming a cartoon is a bit of a cop out. Like for me, all I can see is that he'll be in the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes, And that'll be a shame because, as you say, and even though he was good in Trainwreck, he was the side comedic character who was just sort of playing up a version of himself.
Oh yeah.
Now, when he's asked to deliver actual emotions, we might see the cracks, but it's the fact that he's, for me, he's done what probably Michael Jordan should have done when he did it, because like Michael Jordan was so depressed filming Space Jam because all he was on his own, surrounded by green screen, whilst also actual play basketball. And that year he actually won the championships with the Bulls, and it's insane that. And that's I think that he's had a chat with Michael Jordan and he was like, do it, but don't do the green screen stuff because it's awful. And then LeBron being LeBron and having leverage, saying, okay, I'll be in the beginning, I'll be at the end, that's it. And they've taken it, which I that isn't Space Jam. It's only had one film in the last 20 something or 15 years. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
I don't know who asked for this, and it's been in development for fucking years. But I mean, God, I hope it's good and I hope it's successful, because I want Ryan Coogler to be a force in Hollywood very, very much. I don't, he produced Judas and the Black Messiah. He produced this. It just feels like if this can be a big, like, primarily black cast starring family hit, for everyone, that will be amazing. I mean, I wish it well, but this trailer is borderline abhorrent.
I liked the bit when the man shot the balls. That was funny.
The thing is, what I think will get me through this is my propensity to like the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
It will get me through this.
Don't like Bugs Bunny though.
I don't like Bugs Bunny.
He's a smug git.
He's a twat.
Poor Elmer Fudd. All he wants to do is shoot the wabbit.
I literally hope at some point he fucking does.
You need plenty of Daffy.
Yes, you need a heavy level of daff. I mean, is that it for trailers?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Just interrupting the podcast for a second for a quick editorial bit. There's like no usable clips of Godzilla vs. Kong online. It's all either action sequences or the deaf girl communicating, which isn't great for podcasting, so I'm skipping the clip.
Before I get into our first main review, I just noticed as I was preparing to get the synopsis up and everything like that our next film is the third highest grossing movie of 2021.
Yeah.
Which surprised me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I went,
The Empty Man.
And I went, that's a surprise. I wonder what the other two are.
Yep.
The second one is Detective Chinatown 3, which has made just shy of $700 million. And the number one at the moment is a film called Hi Mom, which has made over $800 million.
What, the Brian De Palma film has been re-released?
I did check just to make sure. Yeah, against a budget of $60 million.
Wow. Very good.
Fucking China, man. Brilliant.
And you look at it and go, well done.
Yeah.
I'm glad that films exist outside of the opening US box office.
Yeah, true.
Oh, that's really cheered me up. That
I want to watch those Detective Chinatown films. The photos just make them look really fun.
Yeah, and I bet they are. Well, that's it. That High Mom apparently is just like a fun comedy. Can you imagine a mid-budget fun comedy from the US making nearly $1 billion. It's fucking beautiful that. Right, so Godzilla versus Kong. Ian was very excited for this one.
Is Godzilla still your boy? Ian?
Sorry, say that again.
I said, is Godzilla still your boy?
No, well, Kong's my boy. Kong's my good boy.
So this is directed by Adam Wingard, stars Kong and Godzilla and a bunch of humans.
Yeah, pretty much.
and the synopsis by Warner Brothers is the epic's next chapter in the cinematic monsterverse pits two of the greatest icons in motion picture history against one another. The fearsome Godzilla and a mighty Kong with humanity caught in the balance.
Whoa.
In the balance.
In the balance.
Jord, I will come to you in a second about this. I have one question I need to ask all of you, though. Right? You know this big dome that's over Kong's fake Skull Island?
Oh my god, let's get a drink.
Very much upset me.
Can you, what is it? Keep me straight way there. Right. Does he have like a litter tray in there that he shits in? Because I'm guessing Kong shits. I'm guessing that thing can shit. So they've got to clear it out at some point, haven't they?
Yeah, but to go in.
But can you imagine whose job it is to clean out Kong's litter tray? He must have a litter tray. It might not be like an actual litter tray. They must have disguised it. I'm telling you, they painted those mountains. That's just Kong's shit.
That's fine.
Jord, what did you think going into Godzilla vs. Kong? Were you up for it, or have the previous movies kind of tempered your views for it?
Well, I didn't like the original Godzilla. The 2014 Gareth Edwards, I found it rather dull. Then Kong Skull Island, I think I've grown to like. I didn't really like it at the cinema, but when I rewatched it, I sort of embraced its more campy nature. It basically is a big old campy apocalypse now. It's literally like a carry-on apocalypse now. And then King of the Monsters was just nonsense. So the trailers for this kept my interest up, and just because I was hoping to just get some nice monkey on lizard action. Never thought I'd ever say that sentence.
That's all I want.
And I watched it early on Good Friday, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It delivered what I wanted, and I appreciated that at points it leaned more to its sci-fi fantasy elements of the world. And I actually got a little invested, not a lot, but into the story of Rebecca Hall and the little girl. But yeah, it's all about the action, and the action in this is fantastic. As soon as we get to Hong Kong, really, it's all bloody great, and it's proper adrenaline-inducing filmmaking where Wingard really gets to play like a child with two figurines, just banging them together, and it's an absolute joy to watch. And it's actually rather good-looking film as well for something that is just two monsters fighting each other. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Becky, now you watched all of them in the lead up to this.
Well, not all of the Godzilla movies ever made.
Not all of the Godzilla, all of the most recent MonsterVerse movies.
2014 on.
Yes. So you can probably chuck out a little bit of what you've been watching at the same time if you want to, or you can wait and do those.
No, that's fine. I'd seen Godzilla and Skull Island previously, not seen King of the Monsters, but actually sort of kind of remembered quite liking both of the ones that I'd seen, whereas you were not so hot on them, were you?
No.
The first of them, the 2014 Bryan Cranston one, it's fairly nondescript to me, to be honest. It very much feels like a jumping off point, but it's a good jumping off point, and kind of, it's the establishing point of the, hey, maybe this Godzilla guy isn't such a douchebag kind of vibe, for the rest of them to build on. Really like Skull Island. I like the vibe of it. I like the Samuel L. Jackson is a crazy bastardiness of it. And yeah, and then obviously went into, I really wanted to watch them all before we watched Godzilla v Kong, and I knew we were doing that today, so I stayed up until 3 a.m. last night, this morning, watching King of the Monsters, and genuinely really fucking loved it, like properly got into it, which I didn't expect to. I liked the fact that obviously the whole Monsterverse thing, it's like you've got all these other guys, it's not just Godzilla and Kong, and it brings loads of them in, to varying levels. Obviously, you don't really get an awful lot of backstory, most of them, you just get the visual and the name, but it's still pretty cool. The whole Mothra thing and the different species can be in symbiotic relationships, kind of line that's in it is kind of cute. And then obviously she dies, and then fucking Godzilla just forgives Rodan for killing his missus and moves on with his life and accepts his apology, which I didn't agree with at all. But yeah, we're really quite heavily invested in King of the Monsters for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, me and Isabel stayed up till 3 a.m. watching that one. So yeah, and then obviously Godzilla v Kong, which
like with her as well.
Yeah. She stayed up with me and watched it.
Fair enough.
She cried when
it's
Mothra
the
died.
holidays, isn't it?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. She cried when Mothra died. She was not happy when she thought that Godzilla was dead. Really angry at the film about that. So yeah. So that was fun. And then yeah, Godzilla v Kong, it just kind of strips it back to being just the two of them with like random nameless monsters, and it felt like a real kind of anticlimax, I guess. I think after watching, I was quite hyped by all the kind of all of them being there and all of them being named, and Ghidorah being such a C word and all this kind of stuff. And then this just it really kind of strips it back. But obviously you've got essentially you've got Team Kong and Team Godzilla, and they're both rooting for their guy. And then they only come together towards the end of the movie, which I thought was quite nice, really. You've got the Rebecca Hall Team Kong on one side, and then you've got Millie Bobby Brown being Team Godzilla, so obviously you're not going to side with them. But yeah, I don't know. It felt like a bit of a letdown after watching King of the Monsters, to be honest. I think I should have maybe just not. I'd have probably enjoyed Godzilla v Kong more. But yeah, what else was I going to say about it? Yeah, I said to you, I kind of, because of the way King of the Monsters goes, and it introduces all these different monsters, and they're all just left at the end of it roaming the world and kind of spreading their radioactivity and bringing shit back to life. I kind of expected that, obviously, you've got the two alpha titans in Godzilla and Kong, that they'd be like, like they'd have their super groups, basically, of different recognizable monsters, nameable monsters that had sided with them, and then there'd be this whole big thing. But it wasn't. It was just Godzilla being a bit of a wanker throughout the whole thing. Like, Kong's just there, and if Godzilla turns up, he defends himself, but Godzilla's actively going after him, and I didn't like that.
Ian, was Godzilla versus Kong everything you wanted it to be?
Well, what did I want it to be? Did I want a fight scene where I literally said, go on, punch him in the face, and then 5 seconds later he did? Where I said, go on, pick up that helicopter and smash him with it, and he did. Later on, go on, break off a bit of that building and punch and slap him with it, and he did. I was very, very in the mood for this. It was the start of the long weekend last weekend. I had about half a bottle of Jack Daniels that night, and I was fucking roaring at the screen. like much to Kiki's annoyance. Like she just fucked off upstairs. And during those moments where Kong was winning, I was 5 out of 5. Now, I suppose, yes, Godzilla should win and does win, really. That makes sense. I'm not happy about it, but I'll accept it. So that stuff, yeah, good time. If the next one is Godzilla and Kong meet at Pacific Rim, yes, please. That's not news or anything. It's all properties. Oh no, Pacific Rim Uprising was Universal, so maybe not. But that would be my next thing. Would be bring the monsters from Pacific Rim into it and have the Pacific Rim machines and Godzilla and Kong fighting those monsters. Yeah, I want that.
Versus the Jaegers, Godzilla and Kong versus the Kaijus.
Oh my god, yeah.
That'd be amazing. I would watch the fuck out of that. In fact, I finished this movie and went, I just want to watch Pacific Rim now.
Oh, no. But you know what needs to happen, though, right? Right. Fuck. Okay. That little girl who's got the connection with Kong grows up. She has that mental connection with Kong like they do in Pacific Rim. So then they put her and Kong in a Jaeger, which is relatively just fucking like massive, and you've got Kong and the little girl in a Jaeger.
Ian is so excited that he's actually struggling to get the words out.
I am. Like, but just can you imagine?
Even if that was a tweet, it would literally just be a collection of letters that only you understand.
But I mean, I'm trying to visualize it. Just like Kong and the girl, just simpatico in movements, in a fucking Jaeger, which is just bigger than the Burj Khalifa. You know, like let's just fucking go. Oh my god. So that's what I want. Now, the humans, Alexander Skarsgård barely does anything. But I can see why someone of his stature did it, because he's not really big enough to lead a film, but he's big enough to be recognizable and be the human lead in a Godzilla. I get it. Rebecca Hall, I hope that she's funded some other projects with this money. Thank you very much. Brian Tyree Henry, great to see him. Millie Bobby Brown, I agree with Becky. Immediately like things less when she's in them a lot of the time. I don't know. There's something. I thought she was all right in Enola Holmes. In this, it was like you could have just not had her in it.
She's just that whole subplot with her is just pointless, and her herself as an actress fairly unwatchable. As the person that she is when she's not in a role, fairly insufferable. So I don't. They need to stop trying to make Millie Bobby Brown happen. She got away with it for a while because in Stranger Things she's supposed to be odd. When she's in things where she's supposed to be a human, it just doesn't wash.
Yeah, and
for me, like it's that side plot is the issue with the film. See, I don't mind Millie Bobby Brown. I don't, and I get the whole Stranger Things. I haven't watched all of Stranger Things, but I've seen the first 2 seasons, and she is good as 11, especially in the first season. But that subplot, that side plot, that it exists only for something to happen in the third act. Other than that, they actually have no impact on the story. And the thing is, Brian Tyree Henry's character is my favourite in the entire movie. Like, human character.
Yeah.
I liked his vibe. I liked the comedy that he was bringing. But, yeah, that entire subplot could have gone. And the film would have been, maybe 85 minutes long instead of an hour and 45, which is one of the big things about the movie, is that this film is an hour and 45 minutes, before credits. It really does get in and get out, and that's what I kind of liked. It didn't bog itself down in any story that was unneeded. Like as in for the Kong, it was just that side plot which was just a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I think generally with the runtime, with the quality of the film, with the action, with everything, they get away with it, and that's it. And you know, there was some really positive reaction just before it came out. Kind of slightly felt like, is everybody just too starved for blockbusters? I certainly didn't think it was shit. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it was Godzilla versus Kong. You know, there's almost like there's an upper limit to how good the actual film is going to be. The fact it's done very well, I kind of hope Warner are smart enough to not double down on this and think shit. You know, because after Godzilla King of the Monsters did about 400 million worldwide, just under. That's not great for that film. This will probably do about the same, which at this moment is a fucking miracle. And they need to just stop now. Now, apparently, like their license on Godzilla has now expired, so it's up to Toho whether Toho want to give them the reins anymore. So we'll see what happens there. But hey, if Godzilla's not gonna be back, let's do Kong versus Kaiju. I'd watch it. But Mark, what do you think of it? I feel like you haven't really.
I don't want to harsh on anyone's high.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's really like, I fucking loved it.
I thought it was deeply boring.
Oh, fair enough.
The thing is, I think it looks fine. No, I think it looks good. I think it's interesting what Adam Wingard's doing, but the human characters have no personality, charisma, or anything whatsoever.
I disagree with you there. Rebecca Hall and the little girl do. They feel like fully fleshed out characters. The rest of them don't.
Do they?
Yes.
I don't think. Are they any of the other movies?
Well, the little girl probably is.
But
As a character.
is Rebecca Hall in any of the other movies? Right, and I don't think she feels fleshed out at all. She just appears, and that's it.
No, but she feels like a real human being, which
doubtful.
She's doing better than Millie Bobby Brown.
But that's almost because she's Rebecca Hall.
Yeah,
she just emanates real human being.
It was nice to see Rebecca Hall in something, and that is about the most positive I think I can say about this movie, because it's boring. Jordan, and this is the thing, you see. It's not that I don't think the film's bad. I think the film is just not for me, because it was a little bit like, the film doesn't give a shit about the human characters. The film actively doesn't care about them. Because the film knows that you're there to just watch Kong fighting with Godzilla.
Yeah, but if they're then going to dedicate as much time as they do to Kong not fighting Godzilla, they need to actually make that work.
Right, but I think they know that they can get away with it just making those bits cool. That is the problem sometimes that filmmakers do with these. What they do is, rather than making those bits cool, they try and flesh it out with, like, what's our message of the human characters going to be here? And no, Wingard's gone, I don't give a shit about that. I want to make this look cool. The problem is I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a shit about any of it, is the honest answer. I probably shouldn't have watched this.
No.
Which is why I'm very much like, my opinion on this doesn't matter, because I wasn't that up for it. I went into it, with everything. I hope it like it, but just didn't hit with me. But I'm very glad it hit with everybody else. And I think that it's great that people seem to have really fucking enjoyed having, like, big silly blockbuster cinema back at them, which is kind of cool. And I wish nothing but good for all those involved.
See, and that's it for me. It's like, I actually got intrigued by the whole Hollow Earth thing. The fact that they went to Hollow Earth, I actually thought was really quite good.
Cool, yeah.
And I love the sequence when we were there, and when we get to Kong's throne, and then all I'm thinking of is like, oh, they look like human-made structures. What the hell? I would love to see the history of the Hollow Earth and see where all that originated from. But it's the characters like Skarsgård, like Rebecca Hall, like the kid. They have an impact on the plot and where it goes. Now, my issue with that other subplot with Brian Tyree Henry, Millie Bobby Brown, Julian Dennison is that right up until Julian Dennison takes the canister and pours it onto the computer, they have no impact. They're completely passengers within this story. And it's just sort of like, well, why the hell have we just spent so much time with them? I don't mind the performances, but it's just sort of like, as a plot device, just have a character that we know realize that I'll be in that location and do that. And like, it's Damien Bashir. I even liked him in his like mustache twirling villain. He didn't really get much to do, but when he was on screen, I paid attention to him. But yeah, it was just that. All I was thinking is like, what are they doing? Because they went to the place and then they got into the pod that took them to the Hong Kong, and they were doing some other things. But all they're doing is watching. They aren't actually impacting anything. And obviously, they see Mechagodzilla, which again is spoiler, but they don't do anything about it. They don't. It's so hollow, to say a pun. That threesome that they have, that it kind of spoils the rest of the movie.
My favourite bit of the movie was when Kong very unceremoniously crushed the ship that
Asa comes out.
all the bad dickheads were in.
Yeah, you did like that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did enjoy that. I think I spent a lot of the movie worrying about his litter tray and going, I mean, that's not what the centre of the earth looks like. And then wondering if Brendan Fraser was going to be there. He wasn't.
Oh, it would have been good if Brendan Fraser was there just in the Hollow Earth, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Can you draw us a picture of what the centre of the earth looks like, and I'll put it up as the artwork for this week's show?
But what I will say is Hong Kong. I mean, when Kong and Godzilla do get to Hong Kong, some of those like neo-drenched shots is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, really, they looked beautiful.
I mean, yeah, it was a bit Pacific Rimmy, but neon-drenched cityscapes always a win. Yeah, I mean, it's a good looking film, you know, and I mean, like, I think Adam Wingard obviously just, I don't know, wanted people to have fun with it. It just, again, the Millie Bobby Brown thing, and I know we're harping on this, but there's an element there, again, of like, well, how can we appeal to teenage girls? Who's a big teenage girl star at the moment? Oh, that girl from Stranger Things. Right, get her on a 2-picture deal. You know, and it doesn't feel organic. It literally feels like you're just getting her in there to get some more bums on seats, which, I don't know, it's a business, but is it necessarily organic to the storytelling of Godzilla versus Kong? And I realise what a ridiculous statement that is. No, it's not. You know, I mean, and yes, I mean, 2 hours or 90 minutes of just monsters fighting would be boring. You do need some human characters there. But you kind of got enough with Skarsgård, Hall, and the girl. Yeah. You know, that's enough. You like George said, you shave 20 minutes off and get it in about 90 minutes, and job's a good one.
Except literally, a studio would have the opposite of going. If it had turned it in at 2.5 hours, they'd have gone, fuck it, get that fucking down. If it had turned in a movie at 90 minutes, they'd have gone, hang on a minute, we've just paid $200 million for this. Where's the rest of it?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose in a streaming focused age, that maybe that's not as much of a concern, but that's one thing that always pleasantly surprised me about like films getting longer like big blockbusters getting longer. So surely studios would be like, yeah, do it 90 minutes and get more show times in. You know, but it's almost like if a film is 90 minutes these days, it's like, oh, something's wrong there. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe they just told their story in 90 minutes.
That's it. There's a weird thing with yeah, that's it. If a blockbuster came out and it was 90 minutes, you'd be like, that's been cut to fuck. They don't want this to fuck it. It's clearly been a problem. But it might just be it might just you say it only need 90 minutes, but it would worry you more than if it was 2 hours 45.
80 minutes is like my, oh, fucking hell, what's happened here then? That's that for me. But I don't know. The thing, God, do we know how long Mortal Kombat is yet? Fucking talk amongst yourselves. I need to look into this.
I think I've checked this. It is. Doesn't have a listing for what is it yet there. Are we? What's the word?
1 hour 50.
1 hour 50. That's about right, isn't it, for Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, that'll do.
Where is everybody? Because where are you, Becky, with it?
It's definitely not shit. I enjoyed it well enough. I just didn't enjoy it as much as the previous one. But if I'd watched the previous one previously and it was a second watch, then I might have enjoyed it more. I had two new to me blockbusters to watch, and the other one was better.
Ian.
Yeah, but it's definitely not shit. You know, it will probably not be talked about on this podcast for like the rest of the year. It's one of those straight down the middle, will not appear on anyone's lists. But yeah, you know, they got away with it.
John.
I'm definitely not shit 100%. I did rather enjoy it. It's for me. It's a 7 out of 10. Did what it needed to do. Enjoyed it when it was on.
Cool. Our audience poll, definitely not shit 42%, touching cloth 25%, and shit 33%.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's fair.
Hey Hannah, you know, I think you really can't beat a good rewatch of a TV show. Would you agree with that, love?
Oh, yes, I would.
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think during, you know, global pandemics, storms, all of these things, it's quite nice to just sit down and burn through something that you've seen a million times.
Absolutely, nothing like a binge watch.
Star Trek.
Babylon 5.
Because you could sit there for hours looking at serial killer documentaries.
Absolutely, that doesn't make you a weird person at all.
It doesn't. Yeah, you could watch documentaries that all seem to be about women killing men.
Love you, darling.
You could put off watching Daredevil for the 30th time.
Harry Potter.
But really, you can't beat immersing yourself in the warm jumper of a rewatch of a show or a franchise. A beloved franchise.
Lord of the Rings.
Twin Peaks. From VHS compilations recorded off television with the ad breaks, cut out of course, to DVD box sets of Sex and the City and, I don't know, Smallville.
Farscape.
Quantum Leap. To giving up finding new content on Netflix and just having a comfort trawl through Star Trek The Next Generation or Parks and Recreation. I think that we can all agree.
There's a lot to be said for that.
You can't beat a good rewatch. So, with that in mind, join
Hannah
and Mike from Chinstroker vs. Punter as we burn through some of our favourite franchises and share our immediate reactions to each instalment in both spoiler and non-spoiler sections. To do that, do a search for the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whichever your favourite podcast provider may be, or go directly to anchor.fm/rewatch project. We are proud members of the Pod Syndicate family of podcasts.
Interrupt this Pod Syndicate podcast to bring you a special Pod Syndicate bulletin. This podcast you're listening to, pretty good, isn't it? Only problem is, it's about halfway through. Pretty soon, it'll be over, and then what are you going to do? Well, if you're a fan of this show, why not head over to wearepodsyndicate.com and subscribe to our brand new feed, Pod Syndicate, The Bonus Shows. Every week, your hosts from Beyond the Neon, Chinstroker vs. Punter, Entertainment Landfill, Film Bastards, His Film, Her Movie, and What's on Tap will be dropping bonus shows right onto that feed. These shows might be collaborations and crossovers, or they might be archive episodes, interviews, one-offs, and other treats from across the Pod Syndicate network. So, prepare yourself for the inevitable disappointment of this Pod Syndicate show ending by heading to wearepodsyndicate.com and clicking on the bonus shows.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled Pod Syndicate podcast.
Shoveler Hewitt and his dumb dog. Thinks he's a man, but he's never killed a thing. Now watch your noise.
Snake.
Cocky little son of a
Snake.
Don't let him see that it hurts. I can hear everything you're thinking. Just ask. The mirror. Hide your noise. I'm Todd Hewitt.
That problem, boys?
I'm Todd Hewitt. No problem.
Very clever use of your noise, son.
Mayor likes me. He thinks I'm a man.
I reckon you'll be riding with the Spaggle Patrol before long. Very clever.
And let's move on to another feature review that I'm going to bring up the synopsis for.
Is this just your method now?
Yeah, it says me having to try and work out what the fuck films were about. What the fuck was that about that I watched a few hours ago?
Yeah.
That's long. That's all long. I'm going to try and find it on here. Oh, that's even longer. So Chaos Walking was made in 1992 and released this year. Is directed by Doug Liman and stars Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland, Mads Mikkelsen, Damien Bichir again, Cynthia Erivo, David Oyelowo, and Nick Jonas.
And Kurt Sutter.
Yes. In the most random casting of the year.
Last long.
I'm certain I read in one of the Ask Sutter things that he used to do.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody asked him about Chaos Walking, and I think it is literally that he's one of Doug Liman's neighbours. It's that is literally as random as that he ended up in it. And it was somebody asking him in sort of like the middle of last year, when's Chaos Walking coming out? And he was like, I have no idea. It's like, honestly, I don't know. I've not even seen it yet. So what's it about? Two unlikely companions embark on a perilous adventure through the badlands of an unexplored planet as they try to escape a dangerous and disorienting reality where all inner thoughts are seen and heard by everyone. That's not what it's about. It's not what it's about, that, is it? What's it about, Becky?
And a horrible posh girl crash lands on a planet and then gets seen by this like pathetic childlike mentality creature who then can't
played by
hide
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Right.
That can't hide from anybody else that he's found this posh girl because everyone can see his thoughts.
Because everyone can see all men's thoughts on this planet.
Girls are just better at hiding shit. But all the women on the planet are dead because the aliens killed them, except that's not true. It's Mads Mikkelsen's a wrong-un.
Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo's a mare.
I think I described Daisy Ridley while watching it as having a face that has never understood the concept of having to pay rent, only receiving rent.
She's fucking awful in
Ian, what's Chaos Walking worth the wait?
I mean, well, so Donna watched most of this with me.
No shit, that says a lot.
No, I mean, because
end of the back end.
No, I mean, I was 10, 15 minutes into it, and then she kind of sat down. She was like, "Oh, what's this?" And just started watching it with me. And she said at the end of it, I could see how that would work in a book, but no, that doesn't work as a film at all.
Yeah.
And but that's it though, isn't it? It just, I'm just going to call it out right now. The narrative device of being able to hear and see people's thoughts is cinematically fucking impossible. It just makes for an almost migraine-inducing amount of like dialogue over dialogue, or when that's not happening, you're thinking, but hang on a second, surely they're thinking something at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, it fundamentally doesn't work. And apparently the first cut of this was basically unwatchable. And I could 100% see that. But it's got some ideas, but they all feel like they must be better expressed in the book. And instead what you've got here is, as Becky alluded to, the most obvious plot twist that is maybe ever twisted, if it is a twist. Can
I point out as well, like, I'm guessing they don't have like sophisticated dyeing systems on that planet for dyeing like fabric and furs and things like that. That means Mads Mikkelsen brought that fucking coat with him. Fair play.
If you're gonna take a coat with you to essentially overthrow a settlement, that's the coat you take.
that coat possessed him.
Yeah,
that was what was in the original cut.
It was like snake's hair.
That coat is actually an indigenous creature from that planet that has possessed him and has made him mad. But then they decided not to go with that because it would be like, oh, what? So you're saying that men can only be cruel to women if they've been infected by something else? And then there'd be a controversy about that. It's, I mean, Tom Holland, not on his A game at all.
He's a thirsty bitch in that film as well, isn't he?
Not thirsty enough. Not thirsty enough to ring true.
I mean, that's... Yeah, straight up, like, he should have been, like, full on, just the most disgusting porn you've ever thought of.
His thought stream should have just been literally just him just fucking jacking it.
Just bukkake.
Yeah.
Like, all over the show.
Wow.
Yeah. Just, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's very, it's both messy and quite boring. And it's more annoying because at times...
Because Daisy Ridley's in it.
I like her in the Star Wars films. But yeah, in this.
The personality of a Laura Ashley catalogue.
Oh dear.
Nice. George.
So yeah, this film is, well, it's a film that seems to be the very definition of bland, doesn't it? And when watching it, all I kept thinking of was about the fans, and I feel sorry that if they've been looking forward to it, they've got something so middle of the road, and it's not terrible, it's not good, it just basically exists whilst you're watching it. It's not really keeping your attention, but it does have a little mystery enough to keep you from turning it off. And what it is, when I watch these YA adaptations, you've got to look at The Hunger Games as a comparison, because that film brought life to a decent enough story, but it breathed another level to it, with some really decent casting and a really good character, especially in the terms of the protagonist, and it's somebody who you can root for. And all I was doing in Chaos Walking was I was waiting for it to even attempt to kick into gear, and it just never did. The drama is so underplayed. The stakes of the story aren't developed enough to drive the plot, and you end up just waiting for it to finish rather than anticipating where or what's going to happen next. And it's like the characters just feel so undercooked and empty of any sort of personality. Like, for example, the preacher played by David Oyelowo, like, you could have had him as like a fire and brimstone guy so loud and over the top, or have his arc be that he seems nice, and then the reveal of what he did, like in his turn to evil, come out later on. I mean, even though those two are stereotypes, but they'll be better than what we actually saw, who was just this utterly nothing character. And it's like I say, I don't think anybody's absolutely terrible in the movie. It's just that no one really has got anything to stand out, and it's a bit of a fart in the wind, really. I mean, give it a year and nobody will remember this ever came out. And like even like the entire palette of it was just dull and dismal and boring. Like going back to the Hunger Games, the beginning of that movie, yes, you do have this dull and very neutral palette, this earthy palette, but then you juxtapose I can't even say that word. Juxtapose, yes, the one. That with the colours and the sharp edges and the fashion of the capital. So you do get to see both worlds. Yeah, and this is it's just an ambling film. And yeah, I don't know if a better version is on a cutting room floor somewhere, but what we saw definitely wasn't it.
It's just, the thing is, I don't even think that the idea of it is even that good.
No.
To be honest.
Well, that's a conceit as well. Like for me, all I was trying to do is thinking, like, and maybe it's just me being a little bit dumb, but the fact that you can see the men's, but you can't see the women's, I was like, that has to be some overarching metaphor, which is what. But I couldn't really work out what it was seeing with that.
No, yeah, that's it. It doesn't seem to be trying to say anything. It's very much that's it, and we're dropped in the middle of it, and we have to accept it. But it doesn't seem to want to flesh out its story at all.
No.
And then characters just like the idea of it doesn't even want to give you like a big sort of like scene where it explains it all either to you. And some characters can hide it better, and other characters can't. And it's just it.
But that's probably fleshed out in the book because you can have that kind of exposition-y shit in a book without it feeling exposition-y.
But you literally, you could have the exposition. Literally, you've got a character who arrives within this world who doesn't understand it. There, you could literally have somebody explaining it to them and thus explaining it to the audience.
True.
Instead, you get a title card at the start of it basically telling you, and then drops you into Tom Holland just being a little bit neurotic to himself.
Pretty girl, yellow hair.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that.
Why is his brain essentially a 4-year-old?
That's a good point.
That's it. That doesn't make sense. And there's so many bits of it that you're going, right, so who's that to that? And who's he to that? And why is that? And it doesn't, none of it links in. It seems to want to just exist on the one trick it's got up its sleeve. And then the oh my God, so all the women weren't killed by the enemy. It's like, yeah, we know. It's fairly fucking obvious.
Yeah.
And if you've got a movie that has Mads Mikkelsen in that coat, why isn't it better? It just should be better.
It should be better.
And another thing, they're all farming, right? Yep, there's no commerce. So what are they all farming for?
To eat.
But there's a lot of farming going on. It doesn't make sense.
To do though.
So there's got to be some commerce somewhere. It's just it's just really not very good. And then it's the weird thing is you've got this little a current crop of new young actors coming through. So people like Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley would fall in that category, right? But Daisy Ridley's nearly 30, and she still looks like, or acts in terms of her mannerisms and things like that, she still seems like she's a child. And it's just odd. It's really odd. And yeah, I don't get it. Everywhere, literally, she arrives there and then just goes to this ship, and everybody she meets along the way fucking dies. Be it a person, a dog, a fucking horse, or an entire town dies just so that she can get the fuck out.
But she's a pretty girl with yellow hair, so Tom Holland's fine with all of that.
Yeah, and he gets to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's now off that planet.
No.
What?
They're staying on the planet.
Were they? I thought they got in a spaceship and went off it.
No, he was in like the medical bay or something of the ship that had landed. They were setting up. What did you think all the fucking tents were for?
I thought they'd gone somewhere else.
What, just randomly?
I thought, yeah.
God.
What? I literally kind of switched off a little bit by that point.
Forgot to mention to you, Ian, you know we watched Blade Runner 2049 that we did in our What We've Been Watching for last week?
Yeah.
Remember that time when Mark didn't even realise Jared Leto was blind?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. Fucking hell, I can't believe you didn't realise that.
Can I point something out on that? I've never professed to be a smart man.
That is true, yeah.
I mean, like, to be fair, I thought cows pissed milk until I was in my 20s, so, you know.
Doesn't even know what a ramekin is.
What, a kamika? Patreon.com/filmbusters. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying this is shit. Like, really, really shit.
When we were watching it, I was thinking this is going to be a touching cloth, and then 2 horses and a dog got murdered, and then it immediately went into shit.
Yeah, literally, David Ower literally drowns a dog out of spite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. I blanked it out.
And I was a little bit annoyed about that. Before we do our ratings of it, right, can I ask a question?
We've already started, just to clarify.
No, fuck it. I need to ask a question, because there's something that I was going, hang on a minute.
Was it that all the way through the movie until like you read something about it later, you thought the dog was called Mangy?
Yeah. Right. Damien Bershire, right?
Yeah.
And Kurt Sutter.
Yeah.
Were they a couple?
Yes.
They were a couple then. I didn't just completely misread that or miss that they were brothers or something like that.
I thought Kurt Sutter was his brother and Damien Bashir was his dad.
They're both his adoptive fathers, so I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, they're a couple, aren't they?
I mean, what else? Right. If all the women have been killed by the aliens.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with that. I've no problem with it. I was just making sure that I didn't miss something.
No, that was my reading of it.
But you thought they were brothers, Ian?
No, you thought they were father and son.
No.
John, what was your take on that?
I just thought they were friends. I did not get that they were together. That special friends.
I'd watch that movie.
Prison friends.
I'd prefer to watch that.
I did think one of them was like his dad, and then the other one was the dad's partner, or something along those lines. But no, neither of them are his biological.
I did also think all the way through it, is this going to come out that Mads Mikkelsen's his dad?
No, his dad's dead.
Oh,
yeah, no, his dad was
dead.
Was he?
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell.
Did I watch this?
I did like Mads Mikkelsen carrying around his dad, for the whole film, and then Mads Mikkelsen saying, "Come out of there! Come on, come out of there! No! All right, I'll shoot your dad! Bang! What? You think that's gonna make me come out?"
Well, that's not his dad.
What?
No, his dad. It's his adopted.
No, that's just his guardian. Like his dad and his mother are dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying here.
His mother literally says in the fucking journal, "I wish your father could meet you, but unfortunately God chose to take him from us."
The fucking journal bit. You've just reminded me about the journal bit, right? Literally. So Daisy Ridley's reading the journal to him because he can't read. Fair enough. That makes perfect sense.
The most emotionless fucking reading of an emotional journal ever. Go on.
Not only that, right? She's turning a page like every fucking half a second.
Yeah, I
How-
know.
how-
It's like one
It's like a
sentence
letter
onto
per
the next
page.
That was quite amusing.
It is. It's just. It's you can imagine Doug Lyman going, no, can you just slow down, like you were reading it, and her going, Nana reads me all my books, and shit.
That's probably how she reads books though, because they just have like
What,
spot.
like short circuit?
Yeah, like spot, turn the page, turn the page, run, turn the page.
Daisy Ridley's just sat there when Tom Holland's character goes, I can't read. Daisy Ridley's going, oh fuck, I can't read.
She just made it all up.
Yeah.
Going to fuck with him.
Yeah. Just say whatever. John, where are you?
Could all title the film was Gaslighting Holland.
Do you know what? Just got star.
I'm on Touching Cloth.
You saw the dog get murdered, right?
Jordan.
And I did, but to be honest, I've give 5 stars to films when they actually kill animals, which is terrible. But yeah,
That's the only way you can get a boner, Jord. I understand.
Yeah, it's
John's
just watching it. It's just watching Come and See all over and over and over again. It's just genocide and killing animals.
On that note,
our audience poll that I just closed because I got so excited about Jordan masturbating. Definitely not shit 17%, Touching Cloth 25%, shit 50%, and Geostorm 8%. I'm sure that adds up to more than 100. It's a lot of numbers there.
it's fine.
Jord, what have you been watching recently?
Oh, straight to me. First up then, I watched the 1993 film directed by Takeshi Kitano, Sonatine. And this is a sort of a gangland Yakuza film based in Tokyo. And there's this sort of gang war going on. And it escalates to where these enforcers are sent out just to lay low at the beach. Now, when I went to this film, I saw Takeshi Kitano, I saw set in Tokyo, I saw Yakuza, and I was expecting a sort of a hard-boiled Yakuza movie, a gangster movie. It does start off like that. I mean, Takeshi Kitano plays the lead character in this, Murakara, and yeah, he's very cool, he's very collective, he has these outbursts of violence, it's quite bloody. But then, when the film sort of transitions to the beach, the film sort of transforms into this kind of heartwarming, funny, loving hangout movie. And it's so bizarre that for the first maybe 10, 15 minutes of the shift, I was just thinking, like, what am I watching here? I don't know if it's intentionally sort of weird and funny, or if it's just bad. However, it definitely isn't bad because the way it carries on and the way the story deals with it, it's rather impressive just what of an emotional ride it takes you on, and it ends up in this big bloodbath. But Takeshi Kitano is a filmmaker that I haven't really seen that much of, but because I mean, for me, I just really recognise him from Battle Royale, growing up. But I'm really interested to see him more as a director, because yeah, this one was definitely something different. And if you do like your Yakuza movies, definitely one to give a try to. Next up, I've got a few films to get through, but next up is completely different. It's 2002's Ghost Ship.
Nice.
Directed by Steve Beck. And this is one which I hadn't seen in so goddamn long. I don't know why I watched it. I think I maybe seen something on Twitter, and the thing about this film is that it can never live up to its opening sequence.
No.
Because that opening is incredible. The way it builds up and what actually happens to all those people on that boat. Like, anything that comes over, which is what happens after it, is just generic horror tropes. Nothing new happens. Nothing. It doesn't really. It's not even that scary, to be honest. But yeah, that opening is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Next up, 1975 Shampoo. And this is a film that I hadn't actually seen. It's one of those where it's always been on a list, but never got round to. It's Hal Ashby, written by Warren Beatty, starring Warren Beatty, Julie Christie, Goldie Hawn. And yeah, I think over the years it's been given this classic status, and I appreciate that, but I think its setting, because obviously it's set during the election eve and election day of Richard Nixon taking office. I just wish it did more with that, because all we do really get. Sorry, go on, Mark.
Yeah, there's actually very little about that and its influence on the film at all, is there? It's just it kind of happens at that time.
Yeah, it's just the trials and tribulations of Warren Beatty's character, and the women who he sort of he strings along. But there is an interesting couple of scenes with I forgot his name now, Jack Warden, who plays Lester, who plays Julie Christie's love interest. Well, he's married, but Julie Christie is his mistress, but Warren Beatty is in love with Julie Christie. But it's as he's going round, obviously a young party, and he's an older man, and it's that looking at counterculture and at the culture that's sort of penetrating the nation at that time. It's the very definition of your 40s boomers, your post-war people, and then you swinging 60s getting through, which is just to see that play off each other was really good. But yeah, I really wish it was a bit more political and had a bit more bite to it. Next up is I am making Ian watch a nearly 3-hour Taiwanese film for Playing It Forward this week. Mm-hmm. And as a bit of a refresher before we do that, because I've still got you to watch, I watched Edward Yang's 1991 film, A Brighter Summer Day. I hadn't seen this maybe for maybe 7 or 8 years. And if you, I mean, the thing is, it is 3 hours and 57 minutes long.
It's a fucking long one, isn't it?
But it is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the greatest films ever made. If you like a coming of age story, if you like to have a slice of life of a nation at a certain time, and to get that atmosphere going on, and just to see the inner workings of childhood and influence and love, it is truly just masterful, really engaging. And again, 3 hours 57 minutes does seem just like so unattainable, but you can easily sit down, get sucked in, and watch it in one sitting easily. And I think it's the second 4-hour film that I've seen in the last few weeks, and even though I did like the Snyder Cut, this is above and beyond. And last up for me, probably not the best time to watch it, I watched Denis Villeneuve's third feature film, Polytechnic, a comedy. This is a dramatization of the 1989 Montreal massacre, where a misogynist goes into an engineering college and basically shoots a bunch of female engineers. And the thing is, Denis Villeneuve, people I think also think that his first film was like Incendies, because that's what thinged him to the globe, and then obviously he just went on this great run since he came to America. But Polytechnic isn't really interesting one. It's, I mean, for a school shooting film, it's gorgeously shot in black and white. It gives you this well-structured dissection of everything, and just the messages of it. Like, there is a scene where one of the characters, a girl, is trying to understand entropy, and then they get they get to the classroom, and the subject they're talking about when the shooter comes in is entropy, and just that dichotomy of them talking about this randomness, and you can't do anything about this randomness, and then somebody coming in and then massacring the school is rather nice, and it does leave you on a rather uplifting message. But it is grueling, it is brutal, it's sometimes really difficult to watch, but it's one of those where I think you can appreciate the artistry, and hopefully maybe just look past the depressing nature of the story and of what the narrative's telling you. But that's it for me.
Cool.
Yes. Tough old watches, Polytechnic, George. That's yeah. It's kind of crazy that the guy who did that went on to direct the stuff that he's managed to do. It's very lo-fi, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. And that's what I kind of like about it. I mean, I've just got Maelstrom as well, which is his second film.
Second one, yeah.
And he is very into his lo-fi, his very character-driven relationship dramas, really. And then he's moved into this become the sci-fi guy. And I have nothing wrong with that. I have nothing wrong with that, because do you know what, the sci-fi films he's made, and I mean, Prisoners, Enemy, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049 are all absolute bangers. But yeah, it's interesting to see his beginnings in a way.
Absolutely, yeah. Ian, what have you been watching?
So bit of a kind of a varied one, to be honest, this week. So obviously I already talked about Space Jam. So Independence Day Resurgence, which is on Disney Plus, and Donna had not seen it. And Independence Day was quite a heavy rotation one for Don and I during our early years together. Like, it just, big silly disaster movies were kind of our thing. And I saw Independence Day Resurgence on Disney Plus. I was like, "You've not seen the sequel to Independence Day, have you, Don?" She was like, "There was a sequel to Independence Day," which I think says something for kind of like the imprint that it is left. And Liam Hemsworth is top billed in this. How does that happen?
They thought it was Chris.
I mean, seriously, it was like, get me a Hemsworth. Does it matter which Hemsworth? Well, there's only one of them, isn't there? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
You know, make sure he's got top billing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, Jeff Goldblum is not the character from the first one. I like Jeff Goldblum. I like his thing. But when he's in a sequel to a film where he wasn't his Jeff Goldblum thing in the first one, then suddenly he's his Jeff Goldblum thing, not into it, doesn't connect. Jesse Usher, bless him, like having to, like, even in the film he's being asked, like, what do you think of the responsibility of living up to your father? And it's like, well, you're even asking him in the film, how do you feel having to follow up Will Smith? That's just mean. I think Micah Monroe is good, and I like the fact that, and I'd forgotten this, that she was actually a fighter pilot, and there is a bit where she is in a fighter jet along with Bill Pullman, and it's like, cool, That's great. You can handle yourself. That's awesome. But I don't know. It's trying to do the first one again, except with future tech, and it just it just doesn't click. And the ending, literally, the last line is Brent Spiner going, "We're gonna go up and kick some serious alien ass." No, you're not.
Nope.
It's like one of the best examples of, you thought you were Charlie Big Bananas, didn't you? With coming out with this, and it's not terrible. You know, it's just under 2 hours long, and it packs a lot into that 2 hours. And Bill Pullman does a nice line in fucking just straight up traumatized. Which, you'd kind of think Jeff Goldblum would be. But no, he's Jeff Goldblum. Charlotte Gainsbourg turns up as like a scientist he had a dalliance with. Yeah, of course he did, because he's Jeff Goldblum. But no, yeah. David from Independence Day, no, not with Charlotte Gainsbourg and just acting like yeah, that was something that happened. No, I just don't believe it. Also, Judd Hirsch. It's cool that he's in there, but he has this whole subplot with a bunch of kids, and it's just a bit, what the... I don't know, just have him be with Jeff Goldblum or something. Don't do this. Yeah, like I say, cultural imprint of a fart in the wind, like Jordan said earlier on, but I don't hate it, but I'll probably never watch it again, but hey. Also, watched Con Air on Disney Star. Good old Disney Star. I'm watching at least one a week at the moment with them. We've been talking on the show how much we like it, and yeah, because they've got a really good back catalogue. I like Con Air, but Steve Buscemi playing a mass murdering paedophile who's the comic relief.
It was 1997, Ian.
Dude, was it a more innocent time? Or was it, God, what was it that I was listening to the other day that was talking about how the 90s was just an era where nobody had any cares in the world? No, it was that audio book that I've been talking to you guys about, Best Movie Year Ever, where they were talking about the 90s. As it reached the end of the 90s, there was a feeling that things weren't quite, things were a little bit going too well. Con Air is symptomatic of that, because you were literally so comfortable with the world that even a paedophile can be comic relief. The end tag on Con Air is he's managed to escape and now he's hitting up the tables. I was really enjoying it.
Oh, I'm glad he survived.
Dude, it's like that, though. That's what you were supposed to... It's like, okay, he didn't rape and murder the kid that he met in that fucking abandoned swimming pool. He's obviously all right.
He's a changed man.
It's so weird. And it just... That, in this otherwise really, really fun action film where Nicolas Cage is doing an accent, but he's not Crazy Cage. John Cusack is there, pissing off Colin Meaney throughout the entire thing. Brilliant. Really good supporting cast around. And then you've got, I don't know, it really bothered me. Just the way that his character, Steve Buscemi's character is, his entrance is hilarious because you think it's basically Hannibal Lecter, and then it's Steve Buscemi, and I like that incongruity, but yeah, no, the fact that there is a sequence, and it keeps on cutting back to him playing tea with this little girl, and it's literally the tension of the sequences. Is he going to rape that girl? It's no. It's no. We were far too comfortable in the 90s.
But he
Yeah.
doesn't.
Sorry?
But he doesn't.
No, he doesn't, but he did before, and no.
Is
It's-
it kids that he's meant to have done before?
I'm pretty sure.
Murder? I'm not sure
He's definitely a mass murderer,
Yeah.
and I don't know why they would have that sequence being him specifically with a little kid if that wasn't behind it.
I mean, he might have just murdered kids. He doesn't necessarily make him rapey, does it?
I still don't think that's great, Bex.
Well, no. But it's better than rapey.
Mark's conspicuously silent.
Mark's fine with it.
But
he don't look like that kid had a fucking great life to begin with.
I will
Green,
say,
yeah, deranged serial killer. The
I
murder
will
of about
say,
30
next time you
individuals
watch it,
along the East Coast. Wow.
the kid has got an old man chin.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Just Google it now, like anyone listening to this. It's weird. It's very odd. Anyway, that's Con Air. Complete change of pace this. Jordan listens to Blank Check, so he might know what's coming up. I watched the first film written and directed by Elaine May, A New Leaf, starring Walter Matthau and Elaine May. So, this is the story of Walter Matthau. Has anyone ever seen this?
No.
I'd not fucking heard of it beforehand. So, Walter Matthau plays a guy who's been burning through a trust fund. And a check bounces. And he goes to his lawyers, and he's like, this check must be paid immediately. And his lawyer is trying to explain to him that he's burned through all his money and he's skint. And he's just like, no, this check must be paid. It must. And it's just this 5-minute sequence of like this guy just trying to explain to Walter Matthau that he's broke, and Matthau just going like, well, it's unacceptable. I need this. This needs to be paid. And there's a sequence where he's basically saying goodbye to all the fine things in life. And then his butler suggests to him essentially, well, you could find a rich woman to marry if you don't want to work. And he gets it into his head, well, he can marry her and then kill her. So it's Walter Matthau playing an entitled rich kid, except he's Walter Matthau and he was probably 50 at the time, who then marries Elaine May, who's this like rich botanist. And he spends the film basically kind of like low-key trying to kill her, while also learning that he's actually really, really good at managing her finances and, you know, kind of protecting her interests. But it's all only really because at some point he's going to kill her and have that money. It's bizarre, but Matthau is fucking hilarious in this. He is so fucking funny. Some of the lines that he gets are just chef's kiss stuff. And yeah, I mean, the Elaine May story is pretty hilarious. And I'm like, with A New Leaf, apparently she turned in a first cut that was like 3.5 hours long. And the studio were like, no, you can't release this. And she took them to court. And I think, like, I mean, she must have lost because this was about 1 hour and 40. But I just love the idea of, what do you mean you won't release my 3.5 hour long film? And yeah, and apparently the longer cut was Walter Matthau basically killing other people who were fucking over her finances, but never getting round to killing her. It's just, it tickled me. It really did. I rented it on iTunes. You know, I couldn't see it was around to stream anywhere, but if you like the idea of Walter Matthau playing a rich kid, but he's like 50, just very nonchalantly trying to find out ways of murdering his wife, A New Leaf is the film for you.
If you do have a VPN, it's currently on the Criterion channel. Streaming.
There you go then. It's Jord. I think you will get a kick out of that. I think anybody would, but I think you'd vibe with that quite hard.
Spot on. It'll definitely go in the watch list.
Yeah, nice. And then the podcast that Black Check did about it was really good, but it stirred up some Twitter controversy, I'll say that. But anyway, that's it for me this week.
Bex, what have you watched on your lonesome?
I haven't watched anything on my lonesome apart from the Monsterverse movies.
Right, well,
or the Desolation of Smaug, which you can listen to in There and Back Again, another Pod Syndicate podcast.
Yeah, that's what I missed. So I've watched 2 on my own this week. Again, they were repetitive work watches, as is my want at the moment. Boiled by a TikTok that I saw, which was somebody watching a movie from like the mid-noughties, like a riff on that, and then just watching it and going, yeah, this bit's not good, is it? Oh, this bit ain't aged well. Oh, this bit ain't aged well. I decided to watch the Will Gluck comedy Fired Up, which is on Netflix in the UK at the moment, to see if the sexual politics of this had aged well in the 12 years since its release. Has anybody else seen Fired Up?
I think I have.
I saw Fired Up, yeah, when it came out. I remember watching it in the video store when I was at university.
Yeah. So the story basically is that it's 2 football jocks go to cheerleading camp rather than football camp because they're going to be able to spend their time with 300 girls. And yeah, it's about as offensive as that, but it is quite amusing at points. Led by the fact that Nicholas D'Agosto and Eric Christian Olsen are both quite charismatic and fun with it, and don't actually come across as quite as douchey as they probably should, but they kind of do, but in very much it's very much poking fun at them, the movie, which is kind of quite fun in that. We went on to make Easy A, and then Friends with Benefits, and then the Peter Rabbit movies. Weird career trajectory for that guy. And then I also watched The Proposal, the Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock movie, for the simple reason as I really like The Proposal. It's a good movie. It's fun. It's Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock riffing off each other. 2 very, very good comedians being quite funny in something. Yeah, it's good fun. It's one of those where I keep trying to get you to watch with me, but you won't, will you, Bex?
I'm pretty sure you've watched it with me.
Yeah, but you will watch it again.
Oh, no.
No. See, there you go. What have we watched as a twosome, Becky? What have we watched? Go on.
A few, haven't we?
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, I missed one of my lonesome watches.
Go on.
I forgot about this one. After last week's trailer, tearing apart of, I watched Shoplifters of the World, the kind of Smith nostalgia movie. So, for a start off, do you give a shit about this, Becky?
No.
Ian, do you give a shit about Shoplifters of the World?
No, as evidenced by my thoughts on it last week, mate, not in the fucking slightest.
George, do you have any interest in Shoplifters of the World?
I do not.
Right. Then I'm going to fucking spoiler it. If you have any interest in Shoplifters of the World, listeners, then skip forward at like 2 or 3 minutes. Weirdly, it's better than it should be. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying it's better than it should be. So the trailer gives you the idea that it's the story of Ella Coltrane breaks into a radio station the day that it's announced the Smiths are going to split up, and forces metalhead Joe Manganiello to play Smith's songs, and it's about the siege of this radio station.
Right.
Right? Ian, would you say that's roughly what you got from the trailer?
Yes, that is the film according to the trailer.
Yeah, that's not it. That is the background of what is happening to Cleo and the rest of her friends who are going through this journey of this night that they're going on, and the backdrop of it is what's happening there. They're all Smith fans, and the kind of Alan Coltrane character is kind of doing this to impress Cleo, who comes into the record store that he works at, comes to the record store and shoplifts. There is literally a scene in this movie of her shoplifting to Shoplifters of the World.
Heavily.
Yeah. The journey that Cleo and her friends are going on is boring. Really, really boring. It is. You've got two of her friends who are a couple, but the guy from it won't have sex with her because Morrissey is both a vegetarian and celibate, so he has to be a vegetarian and celibate, right? But she just wants to fuck. But he won't, because they've done it once, but he's never going to do it again until when, right? So she's just fucking horny. And you're looking at it going, right, so you're gay then, right? And that's it, he is gay. And then they're going out for the night with their friend who is joining the army the next day to impress his dad. But again, he's clearly gay as well, right? And he's clearly in love with gay dude who will have sex with his insanely hot girlfriend, right? Insanely hot girlfriend, they go to this party and she literally just bangs the first fucking dude who has a Smiths poster up, right? Literally it. This jock who has a Smiths poster bangs him, comes in like literally seconds, and then explains to her the Smiths poster is there, but it has nothing to do with it being the Smiths. It's that he nicked it off some French kid. Yeah. Yep. But all of that is crap. But the relationship that Ella Coltrane and Joe Manganiello are having in the radio station is actually quite cool. Because he just thinks he's like this metalhead who's just into metal, because he keeps apologising to the metal listeners that he's having to play the Smiths. But it turns out that he's not. He actually doesn't dislike the Smiths. He just doesn't think that people should believe all the hype and all the bullshit that they expunge, and bits like that. So there's some great lines, like he shoots a kiss mug, and he's like, "Man, that's just uncalled for." And eventually he just ends up like just not having a gun, because he goes, "You know what? I get it. You're doing this for a girl. I dig that. I'm down with that. Let's go." And just starts doing that. They deal with the Morrissey thing quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's basically, he just says, the thing about this is, you believe all this crap now, but one of these days, in the future, one of these guys is going to say a bunch of shit that you're going to go completely against everything he's saying now, and just make you think, God, I was an idiot for looking up to that guy. And it's done really, really well. If you are vaguely interested in the Smiths, give it a watch, because it's kind of interesting to look at how big a cultural impact they had, I think, in America.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's two halves of the movie, and the half of the movie is less focused upon, is a lot more interesting than the half that the director thinks is interesting on.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Go on then, Vex. What else are we watching while I go pee?
Right, hang on. Which one shall I do? Okay, so we watched 2012, the John Cusack movie, which I feel like we watched not that long ago, but it's a disaster movie, so we watch them on a fairly regular basis. I find it quite soothing to watch disaster movies.
I get that.
It's good enough fun. Is 2012. John Cusack's great in it. his kid's annoying. Both his kids are annoying, actually. The little Russian family are more amusing and less annoying, actually, than I remember them being. 2012 is a bit of a weird one because I remember them doing like a whole thing last year when everything was kicking off and saying, well, did you know that actually the Mayan calendar there was an 8-year slip, and 2012, when it was predicted for the world to end, should actually be 2020. So that's quite interesting, but it's not ended. We're just in a simulation.
Yeah. It's 2012.
Yeah, it's good timing.
It's basically a humanity horror film, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
more of a horror film for you because obviously boats.
Yeah, it's just destruction upon destruction. But I do quite like watching it.
Yeah, we do. We watch it
fairly regularly, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
What else do we watch?
Usually on New Year's.
Yeah, usually on New Year's. It's usually on New Year's Day movie, isn't it? Which makes no fucking sense. We watched Murder by Numbers.
Yeah.
Because again,
Sandy B,
and it's kind of like a go-to comfort watch.
It is. We do have certain sort of thrillers that get a lot of play, don't we? And this is one of them.
Yes, and also another one that is of those is High Crimes with Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman, which again I think we've spoken about fairly recently on this podcast.
I was like watching it, getting back into the Ashley Judd stuff though.
The Juddathon,
The Juddathon, because it means that I'm not too far away from getting to watch Kiss the Girls again.
We're not. We're a few movies away from Kiss the Girls.
Away.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's Along Came a Spider to watch. So it's good times.
It is good times, great times. Yeah.
Great times, High Crimes.
Oh, well we watched Basic.
Why did we watch this?
We've seen it before.
Oh, no.
And it's not even that good.
No. I think it's because we were trying. I gave you an awfully vague description of a film, didn't I? Which turned out to not be basic, but you thought it was basic, and then it made us think, oh, let's watch Basic.
Let's watch Basic.
Yeah.
I think part of it.
It was white out, by the way.
Yeah. Which I did get.
Yeah. And isn't anything like Basic.
No, it isn't.
That one film, and there's a girl in a coat, and she goes to a thing, and there's snow.
White out.
Yeah.
Which we own on iTunes.
Yeah, we do.
So basically, I think it was because it was 90 odd minutes long. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And so we watched Basic, the John Travolta movie, where John Travolta just plays unerringly fucking cool in it, but pulls it off really quite well. Because he's John Travolta.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, this is probably the coolest I've ever seen John Travolta.
You've seen Taking a Pill 1, 2, 3?
Oh, he's quite cool in that.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, but he's a bit hammy in that though. He's a bit OTT, isn't he? Whereas he's
Travolta, hammy.
But he's not.
Lick my bunghole, motherfucker!
Is that a quote or are you?
That is a quote from Take a Pill 1, 2, 3.
God, really?
It is, yeah. We'll be watching it again soon, don't worry.
Okay.
It's a cabin watch.
It is a cabin watch. Ooh. Cabin.
So what else? We've got 2 more, haven't we?
Yes.
Rewatch Bullet in the Head. Now my 3rd watch of Walter Hill's Bullet in the Head.
You are the only person on earth who has watched Bullet in the Head 3. I don't hate that film, Mark, but that is such a fucking nothing film for you to have watched that 3 times. I mean, none more, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah. It absolutely is.
Christ.
I love the fact that Steve Mazzaro came on to do the score for it, and it's literally like Walter Hill sat him down and went, right, this is what I want. And Mazzaro goes, right, what I'm thinking is, Alex gone, no, just go away, listen to a load of Raikkonen records, and then just do that. And he's gone, okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. It works out that there is an inordinate amount of knife apple action in Walter Hill movies specifically.
Well, Walter Hill's clearly a cool bastard then.
Walter Hill is a fucking cool motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Bullet to the Head. It's a lot of fun. It's Jason Momoa before he was Jason Momoa.
He looks weird without facial hair.
He looks weird without facial hair, but I like the fact that his character just likes killing people.
He does enjoy killing people.
And literally just decides that he's not going to have a gunfight with Sylvester Stallone. He's going to have an axe fight instead.
He looks far too comfortable with that axe as well during
He looks
fight.
really comfortable with the axe.
Stallone looks a bit like, right, shit, okay, axe. fine, I'll use it. Whereas Momo was just like twirling it around in his hands, throwing it up in the air.
Yeah. It was a good time. I enjoyed my time with it again. I will watch that again.
I'm really looking forward to this next one.
What?
I'm looking forward to you saying the name wrong.
What? Johnny Mnemonic?
No, because you can't say it, can you?
Johnny Mnemonic?
Oh, that was boring.
Yeah, fuck you.
You've been like practicing.
Yeah, in the mirror for hours.
Mnemonic.
Yeah, we rewatched Johnny Mnemonic.
See?
What?
It's not mnemonic.
Oh.
George, this is one of those times when I listen to this show and just think like, am I just listening to foreplay? It's
I mean, to be fair, Mark mispronouncing words really does do it for me.
It's just the way you two are kind of like sniping at each other, but in a way that you both obviously quite like. It's very disconcerting.
literally, our house is just everybody just being fucking horrible to each other and laughing about it.
It's fun.
The thing is, I've got it. Just that you two sound like you kind of fucking love it. I don't know. I think I've been listening to you for too long. This is the last episode, everyone.
Aww. Yeah, Johnny Mnemonic. He stores shit in his head and then goes and downloads it elsewhere, but he overstores himself.
Yeah.
Hilarity ensues. No, it's not really hilarity, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's Dolph Lundgren as a street preacher.
That bit's good.
Who just walks around quoting Bible verses at people and then just murdering them.
He does do that. Dolph Lundgren is the standout character in this. Go on.
A question, right? When it's like actually fixed, have you got any interest in playing Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
I think you two playing Cyberpunk would be very funny. Because it's, Keanu Reeves in the head and all that kind of stuff, and it kind of like, it feels like it's got like a vibe that you guys would dig. And I would very much watch you two streaming Cyberpunk. I really would.
Well, we will do that then when it's a thing. Is it a thing?
I think, yeah, I mean, it's out on the PlayStation 4, but Jord played it on the PlayStation 4 and it was an absolute trash file, wasn't it, bud?
I played it on the PlayStation 5.
Oh, no, 5 and it was that bad. Oh, shit.
Oh, yes. The thing is, I bet it could be a great game, but when I bought it and played it, it wasn't a complete game. So therefore, I was like, I played maybe 90 minutes, and there was just so many bugs within that 90 minutes. I was like, this isn't worth the money, so I traded it and got Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Bex, you specifically playing it, and then Mark watching and commenting, I think would be the way.
So you can play it and I will have the headphones on.
You're going to do the commentary?
Yeah.
Which be, whoa, what the fuck? Who's that guy?
Who's that prick?
Despite the fact that there'll have been like a 15-minute cutscene explaining who that guy is just previously. Yeah. All right, yeah, fair play. When they've patched it and it's all right, we'll get on that.
Yeah, cool. I mean, Johnny Mnemonic having Takeshi Kitano in there.
Stop saying mnemonic.
And Ice-T.
It is weird.
And Dolph Lundgren.
Especially as we know we can say it properly because he just did a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
It seems willful at this point.
Even I don't have control of it. It's willful. It's by somebody else.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but I think it's for me. Yeah, you've got Henry Rollins in there as well. You've got Udo Kier. You've got Barbara Sokoa. Sokoa is genuinely one of my favourite actresses. I love her.
It's just mental. It's part of that weird little collection of sort of mid-90s films that were just a bit batshit. So you had like things like this and Escape from LA and Tank Girl that were kind of like they weren't like they were like a precursor to what steampunk became. Where they were just like this draped in stoner culture but trash culture at the same time, and it was just these really odd fucking pre-future films. that were fucking great, to be honest. They were fun, entertaining, and a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's so weird that literally that, like 4 years after this, was The Matrix.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
And the jump that you had from this to that.
I love watching these kind of films as well and seeing like how the internet is portrayed in films from this kind of time period.
Yeah.
It's always good fun.
It is always good fun. So
we watched the first half hour of Hackers after watching this as well, didn't we? And it's like, it's just not how it works.
That's another one that falls into this category, yeah. So moving on to our final review. That's our last film, isn't it? Yeah.
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 You're right. You stand up. Touch me, I'll die. What? You touch me, I'll die. What do you mean if I touch you? Come on. Come on, man. Come on.
The Empty Man, directed by David Pryor and stars James Badge Dale, Stephen Root, and other people. David Pryor, he's like Fincher's credits guy, is it?
Yeah, and it's like he did a lot of the behind the scenes documentary stuff for Fincher as well.
Yeah,
he's definitely one of Fincher's boys.
Yeah, and you can very much sort of see that in the film, I think. So the plot, again provided by IMDb. Here we go. On the trail of a missing girl, an ex-cop comes across a secretive group attempting to summon a terrifying supernatural entity. Kind of what it's about. Kind of, maybe, almost. Ian, The Empty Man. Is it a horror film?
Yeah. I think so. I will say, when I first stuck it on, I thought I was watching the wrong film. Remarkably discombobulating opening after watching the trailer. But yeah, it's a fucking interesting bit of work, is The Empty Man. I don't like, a bit of a cult of The Empty Man seems to have sprung up in terms of people discovering it, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm quite there, but I thought it was really interesting, and considering all these jokes that I make about like it being a simulation and what, I say jokes. I kind of want to believe that more than believe it, because the prospect of us actually trying to find some meaning and being real and then there not being anything after. I'd rather just be a not real thing and there not be anything after. But that whole kind of thing that does play on my mind, and with this, like the last year, which is, I think, probably made everyone think of their own mortality more than they otherwise would. This film filled me with an existential dread, which I don't think I've felt since Jacob's Ladder, and that sounds like hyperbole, but I think it's maybe only because I don't go to those kinds of films. But But or maybe it is I go to those films and it just did a real number on me. But there's a waking nightmare aspect of this film which really did remind me of that, especially in like the last hour or so. Like basically from when he visits the Pontifex Institute and onwards, it felt like that to me. All spoilers all the time, to be very, very, very clear here. I'm really intrigued to see what you guys made of it. I think it's a very singular bit of work. I think it's something that didn't deserve to just be shit out on VOD in the UK and get dumped in the US in October, where the first trailer came out a week before the film came out. And was so we don't care with Fox that the copyright for the film is 2018 and it has 20th Century Fox at the start, despite Call of the Wild, like 8 months beforehand, being the first film that had 20th Century Studios on it. I think it's a far more interesting bit of work than that deserves. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what you guys thought of it.
John, what did you think of it?
Yeah. Well, it is an interesting piece of work, and going on that, it's like just following on what Ian was saying regarding like the marketing and things like that. It's like I saw this for quite a bit on Apple Movies. However, the poster for it on Apple Movies is a black image with what the white writing of the Empty Man, which kind of looks like the same poster of Slender Man.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is just totally not what the film's selling. Like, for me, is when you've got an image that is so striking and is so eye-catching as the skeleton figure within this movie, that should be your poster. That will get people thinking, what the hell is that? I kind of want to watch this movie. But going on from there, the opening 20 minutes of this film is probably the best horror film I've seen in a fair few years. It is sort of disconnected from the rest, but the way it builds its tension, and this film does something with sound in certain aspects, and it's with sound and feet, which is utterly terrifying. But what I like is we've got this movement of what I think, well, quote unquote here, of prestige horror. And the more and more I think about the films of Ari Aster, and I know it's not the films of this podcast, the more and more I appreciate and I love the films of that man and the way he and what he's doing with the genre. And what I like about Empty Man is it's sort of brings the teenage slasher film with a prestige horror sheen. It's as if Ari Aster directed I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I really that's enjoyable to me, and that's interesting to me. And yes, at points it seems a little bit empty and a little bit surface, but some of the filmmaking in it is brilliant, and it shows somebody who understands how to manipulate an audience, understands how to get rises out of them. And I really did enjoy it. I think it can be a little bit ambling at times and a tad confusing when you're trying to put all the parts together. But as an overall like singular piece, it's a damn good horror film. A damn good horror film.
And I'm interested when Mark said, "Is it a horror film?" Is that coming from a place of I didn't think it was a horror film?
For myself,
yeah.
No, I do think it's a horror film.
Okay.
But what I've seen a lot of, because when you mentioned it about it to me a couple of weeks ago,
I mean, to be clear, it's not set in space, so it can be a horror film.
It can be a horror film.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's a good point that. So when you said about that, you know, like it's that weird thing about let's say you said it for instance, didn't you, the other day? You got a pair of Doc Martens the other week, and ever since then, all you've seen is Doc Martens on people's feet.
Yes.
Right. It's that kind of what is it thing? I've not really. I think I had seen something about it ages ago. Never sort of permeated my brain. And Ian mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. And I've seen loads about it now these past sort of few weeks. And everybody's saying the same thing of, oh yeah, it's not really a horror film though, is it? And then we watched it and I was like, well, yeah, kind of is a horror film.
Really blatantly is a horror film.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's from people who would think this is from people I think would
from people who like it but they're too ashamed to admit they like a horror
film.
Yeah,
would say I don't really like horror because they equate horror being Nightmare on Elm Street, Sorority Row.
Those people,
dull people, yeah. But yeah, what did you think of Ant-Man?
Yeah, just back onto what you were saying about like the marketing and stuff, like, or the lack thereof. I think it is a hard one to market. It's a very intelligent horror movie that is more playing on philosophical kind of subject matter and playing to existential dread rather than fear of like a specific thing. Why are you laughing at me?
It's funny because Ian is somebody who has an existential dread.
just day to day.
Just think. You're susceptible to it, is what I mean there, Ian.
Oh, fuck yeah, I am.
Right? So there's that there. Is what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't have that at all. to like a weird point.
But it plays on things like personal identity, reality, sort of things like that. What is real, what isn't real? Can things be either turned to nonsense or willed into being just by the way they are spoken about and things like that? And it's one of those that you come out the other end of and go, yeah, I'm going to need to watch that again. But then there is sort of your more standard horror fare, like teens dangling from a bridge, the lady that stabs herself in the face with the scissors, except she doesn't, it's the empty man, blah, 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 blah. You know, there is things that you could have used in, say, trailers and promo marketing that would have kind of, but then it would have got them in under false pretenses, and then you end up with just people going, oh, it doesn't make any fucking sense, because they're expecting a slasher.
It's a much common thing. It doesn't matter what the film is once you've got them sat down and paid the money to get in.
Yeah, but they can still review it badly.
Yeah, which is fair enough, which is why it's a different world now. But it's interesting what you said there, John, about the fact that the first 20 minutes or so, that pre-credit sequence.
The Italian bit.
Is the Italian bit. We accidentally watched it with Italian audio for the first 10 minutes and then went, this looks like you're right.
His mouth's moving weird.
So, that is a fucking great horror movie.
Yeah.
But then you've got the bit where it becomes, for a short amount of time, like a teen horror movie. Then you've got this weird, police thriller bit.
Yeah.
And then you've got this psychological horror bit at the end.
Yeah.
It's really good, the fact that it bounces around into these parts.
Yeah, it's like 4 different movies, isn't it?
Yeah, and the great bit that holds it together is, I think, James Badge Dale. I still think he's an incredibly underrated actor, in the sense that everything he's in, he seems very naturalistic in. You know, the reactions that he has to things seem very real.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so like the bit when he's doing that and you've got, which is a fucking, again, like you were saying there, John, filmmaking is so smart. The bit where you've got all of the people moving towards him.
Oh, horrible. I find that is so horrible to watch.
And he takes a step backwards, and they take a step forwards, and then he takes a step back forwards, and they take one back, and then he does it again. But then you've got the great moment of him going, of James Badge Dale like I'm saying, being quite naturalistic and things, going, yeah, nope, and just fucking running.
That, and then when he gets back in the car, and he's just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels quite real for him. I always liked him. He's a great character actor, and he's
well, he reacts
magnetic
like
to watch.
people would react, and a lot of times in horror movies they don't. People do something like you wouldn't fucking do that. You wouldn't go upstairs. It's one of the classic ones and stuff like that. But his reactions in it are like, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
Run the fuck away.
I'm so glad you guys mentioned that because I forgot it. But that was one of the things that really stood out to me in that moment. Just that, no. Yeah, that is exactly what you would do. You know, there's a case to be. Well, no, it's the opposite. There's not a case to be made for like where you wouldn't run up the stairs, but it's like, but you don't know you're in a horror movie. That's the thing. This character doesn't know he's in a horror film. You know, like if he was, it's almost like if he knew he was in a horror film, he'd come out with some sort of quip. But no, instead it's just like, no. And then what the fuck was that? You know, it almost feels funnier because it's more relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Stephen Root turning up and just, whenever Stephen Root turns up in anything, he elevates whatever he's doing, be it dramatic roles or comedy roles. He just makes everything better. But then coming up and delivering like the speech out there, and then the little bit he gets with James Badge Dale is just, it's so just drags you into everything.
That's kind of that comment of, oh, it's good to see you here again.
Yeah.
I've never been here before. Is the start of like the weirdness and the picky apartiness, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's where it starts to become this weird psychological. And like, I think it's there in where it goes a bit Jacob's Ladder.
I was going to just say Jacob's Ladder. I missed that in. I was taking the child some dinner.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean but at the same time, it's also probably my only major reservation with the film is that I think there are maybe moments in the film that don't quite add up to the ending that you get, like him saying it's good to see you here again. It's like, why would he be saying anything that would, because Stephen Root's character is for the let's have him be the empty man. So why would he say weird shit to him? Why? I didn't quite get why that other girl was killed, unless was it thinking about it, was it that they were transmitting she's got to be killed, and then the empty man was conjured to kill her? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
But then why did... Oh, okay. So then when Amanda goes missing at the start, is that to get him on the path to tracking down who the empty man is so he becomes the empty man?
Yeah.
And that's where I sort of...
Right.
I've only seen it once, and my only interpretation with not saying that this film is stunning is the fact that I haven't quite got my head around the puzzle of it yet, and if all the actual pieces fit together, or if it's just a little bit it's just thrown together, which is because I felt like I was following it, and then when it came and sort of twisted, I was just like, right, okay, maybe, but this scene before here and this scene, how does that fit into it? And it at the time felt a little bit, it's just a twist for twist's sake. Now, if somebody out there wants to make a video essay explaining this film to me and how it's not, then that would be wonderful. It's just at this time I don't think I was smart enough with the first watch to actually see the coherence of it all.
I'll definitely be rewatching it, and I think I might look at reading the graphic novel it's based on.
Yeah.
it's interesting because the prologue kind of suggests that that's how the whole empty man thing comes over to the US. But then it's also, unless this stuff just isn't reality, but it's also insinuated that this shit was happening long before when that guy would have become possessed by the empty man. I mean, you can go with he's a puppet on a string throughout the entire thing. There is no free will whatsoever. Again, existential dread, no free will whatsoever. Yes, yep. But also a little bit of, if there's no free will and I'm being controlled by something, in a way that's quite comforting. So I just want to say again how the last 20 minutes of this film left me in is this the simulation just really playing some sort of fucking sick joke on me because I've been talking about it too much?
So where are you in terms of rating?
I thought it was great. But the thing is, I probably need another watch, but I will never watch this film again.
Where are you?
I think I actually will. I think I will definitely watch this film again.
Oh yeah.
Just because I think the filmmaking is worth watching, and I mean, there's the scenes that I was talking about just before we got in the ratings. Is the scene in the opening where the girl goes out, she sees the empty man, and it sort of sets you up for the scene with the group of people. Is when like she takes a step forward and you could hear it in the snow, but then it doesn't cut and all you hear is the as the empty man starts running toward that freaked me out. I just thought that was so simple to do, but it has such a great it got such a great reaction out of me.
That's it. It's really smart, well done filmmaking. It's one of those where you're going, do you know what? I really want to see what this guy does next in terms of a director, and you hope that he gets the chance to do something else.
Maybe he could be the filmmaker Ari Aster wishes he could be.
Yep.
No, I really, really appreciate it. I like trash horror. I have a massive weakness for horror movies, and most of them will get a pass from me because I like being scared. You know, the fucking Chernobyl Diaries is one of my most rewatched films, and it's fucking trash. But it is nice when you occasionally do get what's kind of billed as an intelligent sort of prestige horror that actually fucking lives up to what it's trying to do, because it's a phrase that gets bandied about and so often is undeserved.
I despise that phrase.
You know, there's nothing prestigious about making a shitty film that thinks it's better than its audience.
So you definitely not shit?
Definitely not shit.
Ian?
Definitely not shit. Will never watch again.
John?
Yeah, definitely not shit. I really did enjoy it quite a bit.
Do we need to think of a rating specifically for me where I like a film but I'll never watch it again because it reminds me of my own mortality / fact that I'm in a simulation?
I think Thanks I Hate It covers a lot.
I don't hate it.
Appreciate, but you hate.
Oh, okay.
What? How were you fucking pronouncing Johnny Mnemonic earlier on?
Mnemonic.
It's mnemonic.
Fair enough.
I've just thought of another scene which actually made me say like out loud, "What the fuck?" And that is Under the Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way they actually did that scene, and how it was revealed. I was probably like, oh Christ, I kind of wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a definite shit. Will watch again probably fairly soon, to be honest. Just because I want to just go right now. I know what it's about. Can I have a look at piecing it together?
Yeah.
I would just say I'm glad Lottie is not like Amanda, because Amanda, right from the first scene, I would have killed her with fire.
Because of a bad haircut.
Is that because of the that haircut?
I mean, the haircut, not great, but it's like, God, I mean, sorry to, the bridge sequence where she's with her friends and like, you got to blow in the bottle, blah blah blah. What was that then? Like, in terms of the reality of the film, what was that?
It was. She was literally bullying her friend, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think she was part of it, and she was recruiting them as food for the empty man. Basically.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. That's it.
I think she just didn't like her friends and always wanted to kill them, basically.
Yeah, she lured them there essentially as fodder for the empty man.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Well, to be honest, I think also it was fodder for the empty man, but it was to get the investigation started.
Yeah.
So to give James Badgedale's person his like the drive to move forward.
Has that added more to your dread here?
I really don't like it.
Well,
but
also that one guy says that she's been moved. Sorry, go on.
No, it probably makes it a better film because that track, like in my head, that tracks, and it's like, yeah, that makes complete sense. Fuck it! Oh God, oh God, I hate it.
With your existential dread thing, when was the last time you watched Angel Heart?
Fuck you.
I don't think you could go watching that now.
I can't deal with it.
For next week, we'll be reviewing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'd rather watch a fucking Cronenberg film at the moment. Because at least that's like shit I can, there's probably not a parasitic fucking sex worm around. And I don't know if there is, at least I'll have a good time before it ends. But
Mickey Rourke screaming at the void, I know who I am.
I really want to rewatch Angel Heart, and you keep saying no.
Oh. I'll tell you another one I'm never going to fucking watch again. In the Mouth of Madness. No chance.
Our audience poll on Empty Man, by the way, was definitely not shit. 83% and touching cloth 17%.
Good. Fair play.
We have one question.
That sounds good, that In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, it's very good.
If it's Do You Read Sutter Kane, I'm chucking my laptop out right now.
If it's what?
You need to. Have you seen In the Mouth of Madness, Bex?
No.
Right. Okay. It's a line from that.
Oh, okay.
No.
We'll watch it this week, Bex.
Oh, thank you.
Well, they've got to get round to it on the blank check, Ian.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to rewatch it. I'm going to listen to them talk about it.
You have to rewatch it as well, though, surely, to like.
What, you? No. I've seen that film twice, and never again.
Fair enough. Okay. I'm looking forward to it more now that you're scared of it.
How about Mark? You buy him In the Mouth of Madness on Blu-ray. I send it to him, and I'll buy Empty Man and send it to him.
No. Because I won't watch it. I'll kill it with fire, and then some sort of Cthulhu demon will fucking spring out of it and take me out of my misery. Oh God!
That sequence in Empty Man as well. The underground sequence was really quite gory and very well done as well. God, actually, I really did enjoy that movie.
Yeah, it's fucking great, The Empty Man. One question, Rick Kidd at Rick J. Kidd. With Visionary Director being used a lot and a Suicide Squad trailer mentioning the horribly beautiful mind of James Gunn, what description should be used for what directors in promos? E.g. for Christopher Nolan, you could use time bending.
Oh, God, that's a good one.
Oh.
Stunningly meticulous David Fincher.
Yes.
Featuring the hunger-inducing animation of Hayao Miyazaki.
What that was.
Man draws good ramen. What can you say?
From the potentially rapey mind of Brett Ratner.
The wide shot loving David Lean.
Oh, there you go.
The slow-mo boobing Michael Bay.
That's pretty good.
That is quite a good one, that one, actually, yeah.
You're just being quiet because you can't think of one. You're hoping that no one will notice.
I'm trying to think of one.
The incredibly sweary Quentin Tarantino.
The forgetting Sarah Marshall-y Nicholas Stoller.
Oh, dear.
I can't think of one.
That's fair.
Cool.
Stop looking at me so intensely then. Freaking me out.
What have we got next week here?
The probably playing NBA 2K21ing John Carpenter. Right. I made it a mission to myself about 9 hours ago to have a look at what was coming up this week, and I failed that mission. I actually don't know what's coming up this week, Mark. So I'm frantically looking at the coming soon on Netflix. Thunder Force! Yes!
Thunder Force?
The fuck is Thunder Force?
It's the Melissa McCarthy, Octavia Spencer superhero film.
Oh, God.
That we said we'd review if nothing else was out. And I don't think anything else is out.
God.
If you could find me something else, then so be it.
Well, we're reviewing that as well, aren't we?
I mean, I'll probably watch it.
What even is Friday? The 10th, is it?
The 9th.
The 9th.
Film's out 9th April.
We can review Falcon and the Winter Soldier if you want. It's hi Noel. It's meh. Hi Mark. Mike. It's all right. Just to, I don't know, trigger them. I'm being a stinker. I'm sorry.
Oh, isn't that Voyager's out as well?
Not over here, is it? It's getting a theatrical only in the US.
Is it? Oh, right, there you go.
What do you think of the trailer for Loki, Ian?
I'm so sorry. We've reached the point where I've probably had too many drinks. Loki. It looks good. It looks fun. I need it to be fun. The thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier is it's not fun.
Yeah. It doesn't look fun. I've not watched any of it. It just doesn't appeal to me.
I don't.
Largely, I'm not going to lie, largely because of Anthony Mackie.
He's 100% phoning it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. George, just to maybe give a fucking balance as if we're a news program. You've been watching it, haven't you?
I haven't watched last Friday's episode. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the weekly slice of Marvel cake that they want to give us. I haven't enjoyed it as much as WandaVision, but I think that's because it was actually delivering something different and giving us a little bit more style, a little bit more, I think, intelligent storytelling and sort of giving us in snippets and amping up the mystery where this is just plain old Marvel, which I said that I don't have any issues with that, and I'm enjoying it. But I think I'll probably enjoy Loki and WandaVision more.
Yeah, that's my thing with it. It's just setting the world, isn't it? Whereas WandaVision was like a bottle series, and Loki seems like it's doing alternate universe weird shit. So I'm just not here for just following Anthony Mackie around the real world.
Well, I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
Have you?
Oh, that's good.
Like, genuinely,
That's
I've enjoyed
TV.
it.
You're watching a TV thing.
I am watching a TV thing, yes.
That's not allowed.
But it's Mighty Ducks, so I'm going to watch it.
You shit all over TV, though.
That shit on those Marvel things that you have to watch so you can watch the movie. It's bullshit. Get the fuck. George, thank you very much for joining us. Rebecca,
You are very welcome.
thank you very much for joining us.
Thank George for having us.
For joining us.
For joining us. That makes much more sense.
Yeah. Ian, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And
Thanks for hosting that.
You're welcome.
yeah,
Chaotically and with mispronounced words, but
That's my style.
no, that's your whole
And-
thing.
we'll be back with what is sure to be one of our highest rated episodes next week as we review Thunder Force.
Yep.
Boom.
A film that I watched the trailer to and then completely forgot existed.
Yeah.
So I did all the bits. Oh, Patreon. Give us some fucking money. Bye.
Now here you creeps, punks and freaks. I'm talking about virus from the streets. Spread that virus, go for hell. Check out the resistance of your cell. Smoke some dope, waste your brain. Kick your health out of the drain. Fuel injection, make you high. Ram it up your boot shoot, you know why. You catch it
podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.